Welcome to Nerd on Nerd with me, Ellie Kempster.
And me, Liam Underwood. And I'm going to make another bold prediction in this episode that it's going to be on time. An hour 20, yeah. I'm predicting.
Oh my god, an hour 20, that's...
An hour 20. Okay. If you don't rabbit on too much, we'll nail
it. Oh yes,
it.
I'm the problem.
Yes. In this episode, besides bold predictions, do you want to make a bold prediction before we start?
I think we're going to run over. I think it's going to run to exactly 1 hour 43. And luckily, listeners, I'm the editor, so I can just make it do that.
So if there's like 23 minutes of silence at the end...
that's me.
In this episode, we're talking about My Boyfriend is a Bear, which, to be clear, is a graphic novel, not a statement.
No.
Very funny joke there. Very pleased with it.
I'm laughing so loudly that I actually laughed so loudly that I think my mic cut out.
Yeah, I don't think it picked. It was one of those laughs that I think only dogs could hear.
Yeah.
Because dogs are attuned to loud noises.
Yeah, it's not pitch; it's level of noise.
Yeah. I know. I know how dogs work.
Yeah.
Before we get to all that nonsense, it's time for catching up with Ellie and Liam. Before we do catching up, though, can I ask a quick favour?
What a bold way to start the show. It's time for this section. Before that section, though.
Well, it sort of ties into that section. Can we quickly do the DVD tally?
Oh, you want to do it now?
Yeah.
All right.
Because it ties into my catching up with.
Oh, okay.
When I said before we do catching up with, I kind of meant as part of.
No, I'm going to do it now.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay. Well, last time, Liam, you were on 1,109 unwatched films in your unwatched film pile.
Yep.
We had the revelation that I had, or you had, told me a number wrong. Either I wrote a number down wrong, or you told me wrong.
Yep.
And I was less impressed with you than I was.
Yep.
So, dazzle me.
1,109.
Oh.
And let me explain why.
No change.
Let me explain why. I had a bloody nightmare, haven't I?
You've been on holiday in Austria?
Well, okay, so yeah. Went on holiday in Austria, so didn't watch any films then. I'll talk about that more in a bit. But also, my cinema room has basically been out of action for a week.
Okay, now and this isn't. I don't want this to seem mean because it's honestly not.
Could sound
I just want the listener. I want the listeners to understand. My thought process.
Yeah.
Right, which is I have visited Liam and Kat's a few times.
Yeah, a couple of times.
And they do have 2 TVs.
Yeah, okay.
Liam's cinema room is its own thing.
Compared to I'm
not trying to cause no. I'm just telling people there is a room that is Liam's cinema room.
Yeah. And
then there is a living room with a not as big TV.
No, it's the same size. It's the same size, but it's an older TV. It doesn't handle motion as well.
Okay, so it doesn't handle motion as well. Sorry.
It is a 4K TV, but it doesn't have the like colour thing that it's not UHD. It's not ultra high definition. It's just 4K.
When you say these things, do you ever catch yourself and just go, "Fuck me! I have such a ridiculous amount of like privilege."
Yeah, no. Do you know?
I'm like the
when I
luckiest
noticed
fucker.
it, and I don't know if I discussed it on the podcast. I noticed it when we did the Paranormal Activity Day, and we watched 4 films on one 65-inch TV, and we went, "Why don't we go to the other 65-inch TV? We're going to lose the surround sound, but we've got a soundbar, and we can watch this one in 3D."
Yeah.
That's when I was like, this is maybe.
I have it quite good.
Yeah. Anyway, so here's why it's been out of action for a week. Yeah. We have, since we've moved into this house, which was start of November 2018.
Yep.
We have been using the 2-seater the 2-seater sofa that should be in the living room.
Okay.
That's been in the cinema room.
Well, yeah, you've got a bigger one. Is it a bigger sofa?
There's a 3-seater in the living room for now.
Which makes sense. It makes sense to have the bigger sofa in the living room.
Yeah. But the goal is to have the 3-seater and the 2-seater both in the living room.
Got you. And then, something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, initially I ordered a sofa when we first moved in. It got here. And in doing that, we had... So, for a while, we had the 2-seater in the cinema room. Then we moved it into the living room. Got a new sofa in for the cinema room. And it was shit. I hated it. So we sent it back.
I think you might have told us that on the podcast.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
But yeah.
Sent it back. Moved the 2-seater back into the cinema room. Just after New Year, I ordered another sofa. Mm-hmm. That it was going to take like a couple of months to get here. Last week is when it was meant to arrive. Last Thursday. So Wednesday night, we moved the 2-seater back out of the cinema. And bear in mind, like, moving this two-seater sofa between just me and Kat is not a particularly easy process. Lots of dragging it along the floor. So I'm reluctant.
Better not be damaging that floor.
Or the sofa.
Well, no, it's the floor that's important, because that's the bit that you're renting that from someone else.
Yeah, but the sofa's mine, so that's more important to me.
Right, okay. You have your priorities wrong, but carry on.
On the Thursday, get a knock on the door. It's the guy from the sofa company. He goes, cool. "Oh, I'm here, but I've just looked on the lorry, and your sofa isn't on there."
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's like, I can't really do much about that. Here's a number. If they haven't got in touch by the end of the day, give them a call. And then off he trots. So I ring him back, and I'm like, okay, they're going to want to fix this quickly, I assume. We're like, oh yeah, so we've found your sofa. It's still in the warehouse. Like, well,
right.
That's good. Like,
that's unfortunate, but they can ship it out. Hey,
I was like, well,
ship it out. It's their mistake.
Yeah, I tried to lay on the guilt a bit. So I was like, well, I've taken a day off work to be home for this.
Yeah. I mean, that's not laying on the guilt. That's also, like, you can just say that.
Yeah. Then they just go, yeah, the soonest we can get it back out to you is a week from today.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, well, I guess it's going to have to be that then, isn't it? If that's the soonest you can do.
Did you tweet?
Ridiculous. No.
Liam!
I was having a shit week and I couldn't be bothered to get into it.
Did Kat tweet?
No, which is unlike her, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd have imagined if anyone was going to do it.
Kat loves doing that sort of thing.
She does.
But I didn't want to then move the two-seater back from the living room into the cinema room to have to move it back again in a week's time. So for the last week, all I've had is one of the dining room chairs set up in there.
I was going to jokingly say you should have put a dining room chair in there.
I did,
but you
and
did
it's
do
really
that.
uncomfortable.
Yes, obviously. God, the image of you in the dark with this massive TV and a little dining room chair just perched on it, like trying to watch a film, is hilarious.
Yeah, so obviously I couldn't watch any films for Austria. Initially, they offered to deliver the sofa the first time when I was away in Austria, so I had to move it back a week for that. Then it went on the lorry, so that had to get moved back a week again. But yeah, so that's why I haven't really watched any films since we last spoke. I
mean, at least you haven't bought any more.
That is also a good thing that I'm pleased you're recognising.
But you are behind on your current target, I think.
Yeah, I need a free weekend where I can do like a movie weekend and just watch like a bunch and just knock that number down a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the sofa debacle.
Yeah, that's pretty nightmarish.
But it arrived today, and I've got a puff now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can put my feet up.
That's nice.
Yeah, perfect. I've never had a puff
Wasn't
before.
It just usually you sitting in the cinema room by yourself?
Yeah.
Usually, so you could put your feet up.
Well, Kat comes in to have dinner.
Kat, I know you don't listen, but I don't understand your life and why you let this happen.
Because the TV's better, so she wants to come in because we watch stuff when we eat. Well,
then if that was true and she actually cared like that, why would she not be in there more, being like, come on, let me watch TV in here, you go in the other room?
Because she likes watching terrestrial TV and we don't have an aerial in that room, so we can only watch things like Netflix and films. There's reasons for everything.
Yeah. There are, and they aren't the real reasons. They're just reasons that you are very good at coming up with, so you don't seem as bad as you are.
Hey, I'm very good.
Sorry, that hey really got me.
Kat doesn't listen, but I did make her listen to our discussion on lying last week, and she said it now makes sense why people were tweeting her things like, "I'm sorry, Kat."
I genuinely enjoy that people actually did that. I'm so happy.
Yeah. So yeah, do you want me to talk about Austria now, or?
Yeah, no, go on, hit us with Austria.
Austria.
I want to know.
I went to Austria. I went there for what? 5 days.
3 days?
5. Well.
Oh, okay, fine. It was over a weekend, right? But then was
so I did 3 days of skiing, but then the first day was getting there, and then the last day was getting back. Which it doesn't take long, to be fair.
No.
But so yeah, it was like a 4-night trip.
Yeah.
That's the best way of describing it, isn't it? When you talk about holidays and things.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, firstly, flight there, real quick, like 2 hours, if that.
Oh, was this the one where you got like a massive tailwind or something? Or was that? Am I thinking of something else?
You're thinking of something else. I don't think I got a tailwind.
My bad.
I started watching an episode of Luke Cage because I'm slowly working my way through that. By the time I started it, we'd already landed before we'd finished. So, yeah,
that's right.
Hotel, ridiculously posh. So the reason why we went to Austria and this specific place is, one, my mum is like trying to do things with me before like I can't because of my eyes. So we're sort of like doing more things than we normally would.
You dickhead.
What?
I don't know, just the way you threw that in. But yeah, no, I know you didn't do it like that. I'm sorry.
It's like that's one, but also
it's because it's such a like you saying that is a legitimately sad thing.
Yeah,
but it's also like I don't know the fact that you're. I don't know why that's funny. It shouldn't be, and it isn't.
But
the actual situation isn't funny, but it got me anyway. I just cut that out because fuck me. Not you saying it. Oh my god.
Oh, Ellie's just digging herself into a hole now, and it's just going to get harder and harder to cut it.
Yeah. So your mum was whatever. Just carry on. I can't be bothered.
She's trying to do things like that where we can, just because we don't know how long I've got unless science comes through and fixes me. Which there has been positive news lately, so maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. So we went to Austria because my mum's partner Ian, he had been there before with work.
Oh, okay.
Because his work do like weekend trips skiing that the company pays for, and obviously,
What?
I know, ridiculous, right?
What's his job?
I don't actually know.
Oh,
I know he's either becoming or he's now a director at that company because he's been there for a while and he's sort of worked his way. But like,
when you don't know what someone's job is like that it does make me immediately think he might be a hitman.
Yeah, I don't know. I know.
I don't actually know what Ian does, but he's a director of it.
Yeah, he works in London, and from where they live, it means he has to get up at like 6:30 and get on like a 7 a.m. train to get into the office on time.
Yeah,
which is shit. But equally, they get like paid for trips skiing. So, and also, so they do that, but because the company pay for it, they get to stay at quite a swanky hotel.
Yeah.
So, for some reason, we went to that hotel that was ridiculously swanky.
Was it the kind where it's like so swanky? Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how you would be in a swanky hotel. Like, are you the kind of person that goes into a posh hotel and is like, "Oh God, I'm not posh enough to be here"?
It wasn't that posh. The thing is, it was a hotel that was predominantly for like couples on their honeymoon. So it wasn't people staying there particularly long.
And then you, your mum, and Ian.
Yep. Yeah. There weren't a lot of other families there because it's a hotel that doesn't allow anyone under 16.
Oh, right, got you.
So that was nice. But yeah, so the first day there, I got the lay of the land. They've got like a spa section. There was a naked spa section I didn't go to. I wanted to, so I could talk about it.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. You wouldn't be able to handle it.
Well, the thing is, I looked up online reviews about it, and they said, one, and this is what I didn't like, the nudity was very strictly enforced by a clothed person that like is not allowing people there unless they're naked, which makes, I don't know, it's just weird. And two, the locals can pay membership to the spa facilities, and they said
a lot of hotels do that.
They said it's a lot of just old Austrian naked men, which I was like, I'd fit in. I don't really.
You could have had one of those like movie moments where you like meet a bunch of old Austrian naked dudes and become like their adopted boy.
I've not seen any movies like that.
and then they take you in the back room and you suck them all off.
I'm worried about what movies you're watching.
Just lots of porn.
Apparently the UK is bringing in a block next month. I know they've been talking about it for ages, but apparently it's actually happening.
Is it actually happening? Well, it won't stop anyone.
No, because VPN, but...
Hell yeah.
Hence why I was asking you and Dan questions about VPN earlier, because here's what the government...
Well, you're safe. What are they going to block? I know what shit you watch. Yours isn't even going to be remotely touched. They'll be like...
apparently, now, right, if you're a porn company or like a porn site that's I was going to say airing, that's wrong, but like accessible from the UK... Yeah. There's going to be like a single sign-on thing that you have to go through for any site. Once you've logged into it, you're fine. You can access any site, but you have to do it. You have to prove your identity, or you can pay. It was something like $4.99 for and like essentially an ID card that you can use to access. It's honestly ridiculous.
It's just insanity.
Yeah. Back to Austria.
Yeah. Sorry.
So. Yeah, first day was just getting lay of the land. Second day is when I nearly had a panic attack on a mountain, which was terrifying.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
So yeah, go on. Tell everyone the story of how you nearly died on a mountain.
Here's the thing: when you've only got 3 days, one, you want to make the most of it, but two, Ian had booked us because he's been there before and knows the lay of the land.
Yeah.
A restaurant that was at the top of the mountain that you could only get to by skiing, that he booked because it has really nice like panoramic views.
Oh, that's quite nice.
So on the first day, cloud rolled in.
Yep.
We had the best way of describing it is, do you know what a whiteout is?
Yeah. Where is that? I think you described it to me. I think originally I just thought it was when there was a lot of snow and you couldn't see, but then you said it's like snow and fog or cloud. Is that right?
Close. It's something. It's also something to do with the way the sun is reflecting or some shit. So everything looks flat.
Oh.
It looks white and flat, which when you're on a mountain, like, and you're doing skiing, it is very rarely ever flat.
Yes.
And you can like watch someone ski ahead of you, and you'll see them going, and they just disappear where the dip is, but you have no idea where that dip is.
Yeah.
So that, plus fog, because the cloud was in, that was the conditions for the first day. I didn't get my ski legs back at all. So not only was that happening, but also I was trying to ski the way I remember skiing, and my skis just were not responding the way they felt like they should.
Okay.
Which was terrifying, because I've never had that before. Even when I had like a 10-year gap between skiing, I've never skied that badly before. I think a part of it was that my boots were too loose, but everything else was going on that I hadn't quite managed to drill down. I thought it was just my technique being off.
Yeah.
I fell. So normally when you're skiing, it makes sense to fall backwards into the mountain, because if you're on a slope...
Yeah, you don't want to fall forwards and like tumble.
Yeah, I fell forward.
Right.
Landed on my shoulder, and somehow also hurt my thumb on my other hand, which that happened 2 weeks ago and now still hurts. So I don't know what I've done there.
Go to a doctor.
Oh, I don't really want to.
Well, better to get it sorted than sit with it.
The thing is, like, I can bend it and
wrong.
stuff, so it's clearly not broken or anything, and I can move it around. So I don't know what it could be.
Pulled a ligament.
Oh, I don't know. That'll just fix itself, though, if that's the case.
No.
Doctor won't help that.
Ligaments wouldn't. A pulled muscle would fix itself. A pulled ligament wouldn't. But carry on.
What can a doctor do about a pulled ligament?
They can fix those things. It's probably not a pulled ligament. You wouldn't be able to bend it.
There we go then. It's like you can see. I'm showing you now on camera.
He is showing me him moving his thumb, listeners, as if that proved. Yeah, very good. It moves.
But I whacked it. I whacked it on my chair earlier.
Blood is pouring out of the joint.
I whacked it on my chair earlier, and it really hurt.
Yeah, go to a fucking doctor. It doesn't sound like it's okay.
It's not. But yeah. So that was basically just trying to. The other issue, I've never skied on this mountain before, so I have no idea how long a run is. So you're skiing through fog, not knowing where dips are. I was aware that the way the runs work out there is you've got blue, which is the easiest, red, which is medium, and then like black, which is hard.
Yeah.
I was on a blue run. Well, all three of us were. We knew that there were reds and blacks that came off of it, but we didn't know where, and the fog was so bad that you also couldn't really see.
Yeah, got you.
It was terrifying.
What you do? Did you all try and like ski down together? How do you? I've never been skiing, so I don't know how. It works.
So because Ian had been to that resort and been to that mountain before, he went first, and then we kind of just had to like follow him as best as we could.
Got you.
But yeah, I was just snow plowing the entire way, which is the very, very basic first thing you learn to do when you ski, and is that
when you put your feet?
Yeah, you make like a pizza slice with your skis. Yeah. Now, when you actually know how to ski properly, you should hardly ever really do that, because you do like parallel skiing, where they always stay parallel. But yeah, it was just horrendous. So, and the whole reason why we had to ski that day is because we had this restaurant booked, which the whole reason Ian booked it was for the views, which all we saw was cloud.
Was the restaurant itself not like? Because I imagine if it's got really nice panoramic views, like I know you're sitting there being like, "Oh fuck me, this is a terrible whiteout that's happening," so it's not great. But is there like some part of it that you're like, "Oh, it's actually quite cool being in a panoramic view that is just white"? I don't know. That sounds quite cool to me.
I think it would have been cool if in my head it wasn't. You've got to ski down from this somehow.
Yeah, got you.
So yeah, that was sort of. It 100% would have been cool. It was very much like, have you seen the film The Mist, right?
Yeah.
It was a lot like that. Just horrible. Right. The second and third days, amazing weather. Like, sun, not a cloud in the sky, brilliant. Just, honestly, the first day did so much, like, damage to my confidence skiing that I then had to spend all of the second day on, like, one very easy run, just building my confidence up. And then the third day, I actually got to do some skiing, which was quite nice. But yeah, that was Austria. Oh, and on the second day, there was like a rugby match that my mum and Ian wanted to go watch, and I didn't. So I went down to the pool area where there was like a jacuzzi or hot tub. And from my position on a bench without my glasses on, all I could see was like someone's back and no one else in it. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's just one person in it. I'll just go sit on the other side. That's fine. And then as I got closer and just like was awkwardly sort of fumbling my way in, I realised that it was a dude, and what I couldn't see was his girlfriend or partner that was literally attached to his face as I'm awkwardly clambering in to this hot tub, which is also in like quite a dark corner of the room. So kind of, they didn't stay in the hot tub long once I got in.
Why would you get in a hot tub with another person anyway?
It was a big one. Like, it wasn't like... I don't know what you're thinking when you think hot tub.
I'm picturing
like,
a hot tub.
You could have fit, I reckon, at a squeeze about 20 people in it.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't like... It wasn't a cozy, like 6 people max.
Got you.
It was a decent size. But, I mean, even so, like, I still sat on the other end and they kind of just...
And they definitely thought you were a weird pervert.
Yeah, most likely.
And they were right.
The problem with hot tubs and all that sort of thing is it expands your swimming trunks.
Yes.
So even if you're not being pervy, you couldn't tell.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know if that's a problem, is it?
I don't know. But yeah, Austria was nice. I discovered that there's an Austrian delicacy which is essentially torn pancakes.
Okay.
So they make this like amazing like pancake thing that you then get in chunks and you dip it in. Out there it was like applesauce.
Oh, okay.
Which I didn't think I'd like, and turns out I like a lot.
Why wouldn't you have liked it? It's torn pancakes. You like pancakes.
I do, but I don't think applesauce... Like, you know you're meant to eat applesauce with, like, pork or some bullshit, and I never do, because I don't understand it.
You have things like apple strudel and stuff. You have dessert.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah, I don't know. I just liked it more than I thought I would.
I like the way your brain works and doesn't put these things together.
I even had apple strudel out there.
You had dessert apple, and you're like, oh, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I had apple strudel out there. I was like, oh, yeah, that's nice. Had some Jaeger bombs.
Who was that? You, your mum, and Ian?
Just me and Ian. We were partying. To be fair,
having a little party.
I was celebrating getting down that mountain in one piece.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What did you think of a Jaeger? Have you had Jaeger bombs before?
We've had them before when we went to Scandals once.
Oh yeah,
it was alright. I don't really have a lot of like Red Bull, so you know.
It's more the Jaeger that I don't like in those.
I didn't mind it in all honesty, but we had it with Coke.
Taste.
Yeah, we had it with Coke when we had it before.
What?
I thought.
No, that's not a Jaeger bomb.
Oh, what did we have then?
It would have been Red Bull.
And Coke? No. It was dark when we had it before. I don't know what was in there. I just drank it. And I think
you might have just had a vodka and Coke, Liam.
Oh, I don't even know. But anyway, I had Jaeger bomb. It was good. The other thing about Austria is I was looking for like something to bring Kat back. I found that something amazing in the end, but there were so many penis-themed things that I ended up taking
I don't think that's an Austria problem. That's just everywhere you go on holiday, if there's any chance that like lads on tour will go there.
Yeah.
It seems like immediately there'll be about 10 tourist shops that are just like penises, right?
Yeah. You could get like a penis bottle opener. My favourite that you saw was a penis salt and pepper shaker.
Oh, that's quite good.
Yeah, that was the one I was most tempted to get her, but I didn't. There was one that was just like a plastic sperm that I think turned out to be a pen.
Oh.
Weird.
Interesting.
But in the end, I got her this little cow bear thing, right? Like a teddy bear cow. But you talk at it, and then it repeats back to you what you said in like a high-pitched voice.
That's fucking horrifying.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So I didn't tell her, and then I turned it on and gave it to her, and then she was like, "What's this?" And then it repeated back like, "Watch this." It was brilliant.
Oh, jeez.
That was my Austria trip.
Oh, well, it sounds like you had a good time for most of it.
2 of the 3 skiing days were really good.
Well, I'm glad you didn't die on a mountain as well, buddy.
Thanks. It was close.
Yeah.
It was close. It felt like it was close. But I survived. And now I'm here. Like, I knew I had to come back to do the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. That got you through.
That was the one thought. I was like, if I die now, I'm just going to let Ellie down. And I couldn't bring myself to do that.
No, thanks, buddy.
That's all right. So, what have you been up to?
I have had 2 things, Liam. I've got 2 things that I've been up to.
Okay.
One of them is the thing I've been up to. One is just a sort of thing that happened to me.
Okay.
So the thing that happened was the other day, you know how in like shopping centres, you get like little stalls that are like trying to sell you shit. Like not the shops.
Give some examples.
Like I don't know, they're like pop-up shops that are like selling, almost like you get a lot of phone case ones.
Yeah,
where there'll be someone and they won't be there every time.
Yeah, there was one in Basingstoke not too long ago that is where, you know, we've got those coasters that have like superhero thing, like little glass coasters. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So where I work in Victoria, in that shopping centre, there was a pop-up shop the other day. I think they're there quite a lot, but I don't really pay attention to them. And I'd gone into Sainsbury's to grab something. A little Sainsbury's local came out. I was walking past and I heard someone saying, "Hey, you," and I was like, I don't usually look around for that kind of thing because I'm like, they're not talking to me.
Don't you normally walk with like headphones on or something? Anyway,
yeah, I've got my noise cancelling headphones.
Yeah,
but I just was like, oh, that's a bit weird. Turned round and this woman was like, come over here, and I was like, okay. In my head, I was like, cool. They're going to try and sell me some shit. I'm going to feel guilty. I'm not going to want to buy it because fuck it. I get my own shit from wherever I need.
Yeah,
I don't need this. So it was all like beauty products, like skincare and all that shit, organic and whatever, made with natural ingredients. So she tried out all these, like, I think, what did I do? I rubbed salt on my hands. Have you ever done that?
Sauce?
Salt.
Oh,
SALT.
salt. Yeah, no, I've never done that.
Makes your hands really soft. It was like very fine salt. Makes your skin very soft. She was like, your hands are soft now. And I was like, yes, they are.
Yes, magic. This is magic salt.
Amazing. Then there was like some other shit. I can't remember what that one did. I was like, yeah, it's amazing. What a miracle cure this is. And then she's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. Well, you know, we're selling this, and I was like, yeah. And she was like, it's 60. Or she said it's 60 for 60 each of these 2 pots. And I went, sorry, 16?
So wait, these aren't 2 pots. These aren't 2 pots of salt, right? They're 2 pots of...
No, not the salt. This is like moisturising cream or something.
Right, okay.
I think she was selling the salt separately as another thing.
Right. So you got...
She'd asked, she was like, which one of these are you most interested in? And I was like, I don't know.
So wait, one of the pots was moisturising cream, and the second
It might have been was the salt, possibly.
Right. Okay.
It's like special... It's like Dead Sea salt. It's not like... It's not just table salt.
Yeah.
It's like pink... weird shit. I don't know, Liam.
No, I've seen it in like the body shop when Cat drags it in there, so I sort of know what you mean. Yeah. Which is also a very overpriced shop.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is it 60 quid?
It's not that
for
overpriced.
A pot?
No,
because that's expensive. So I was
how big are we? How big is this pot?
I'm gesturing to Liam with my hands, maybe like that. So
that's like, I reckon, 2-inch circumference?
Maybe a little bit bigger than that. 3.
Okay.
So she gestures at these 2 pots and she's like, they're 60 quid each. I was
Quick
like,
question, sorry. Circumference, is that...
Oh my god, you're worrying so much about the size.
No, I just
don't worry.
Is circumference from one side to the other side, or from the middle of a circle to the edge of the circle?
Circumference is... No, we're both getting it wrong. Circumference is the whole outer rim.
Okay.
Diameter's all the way across, radius is half.
Alright, so...
circumference is the whole circle. I meant diameter.
That's what I meant, I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so like 3-inch diameter.
Which means it's a circle that from
one side to the other is 3 inches.
3 inch. I wanted to.
You're worrying so much about the size, and it's so irrelevant to the story.
Our listeners needed to understand. No, it is important because when you say it's like £60, if that was a huge, massive bucket, then that's good value.
Industrial barrel.
Yeah, that's really good value. It
was not good value.
Tiny 3-inch diameter pot.
It was very expensive for what it was.
There we go.
I said, no, I'm all right. That's way over my budget. Yeah. I can't afford that. And she was like, oh, what is your budget? I went, well, it's like, honestly, like maybe at most 40 quid for something. No, for like both.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe 40 quid for both would be like, then I'd have been like, oh, maybe I'll get them because it's quite, a fair amount. And she was like, oh, right. Oh, okay. And I was like, yeah, sorry, like, thank you for showing me it. When I get money, maybe I'll come back and have a look. I wasn't going to. I was just placating her. Yeah. So, like, that's sort of the end of it. She's like, oh, okay, well, I'll give you a business card. And, if you want to get some at some point, you can just use that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So she walks off. And she comes back very quickly. And she genuinely, she leans over, like, super conspiratorially.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, look, I'm going to do you a deal. And I was like, okay. I was like, oh fuck, she's gonna like. This is like a selling tactic where she's like, oh, if they say no, you give them the selling tactic.
Yeah.
She's like, look, I'll give you my staff discount on this other thing. It wasn't for those 2 pots. It was for this other thing that I'd said was quite impressive. It was like a exfoliating cream or some shit. I don't know. So I'll do you a deal on that. I'll get you a staff discount. So I was like, okay, how much is that? And she went. She gets out her phone.
Yeah. Types
into the calculator on her phone and shows me like this, so that no one else can see what she's doing and no one can hear what she says. And I was like, okay, this is fucking weird. And it was like 29 quid. And I was like, I can't be asked. I'm just gonna fucking buy it because this is who I am. And I'm just like, she's tried so hard.
What was the RRP of that? Still like 60 quid or something?
Well, no. I'll get to that in a bit later because that's the whole point of the fucking story. So I was like, fine, I'll buy it. Whatever. It's too expensive for what it is.
Yeah.
I don't care about. I'm never gonna use it. But she's earned this sale.
Right.
She's quite nice. I'll buy it. So she goes over and does all this stuff. Brings over the card machine. I tried to use my phone to pay for it. The machine's like, nah, this isn't going through. And then her manager noticed and was like, came over to help. And I was like, oh fuck, if this is real, she's told me not to tell anyone. And her manager is now involved in this deal.
Yeah.
And then her manager goes, okay, so how much was this? And she very like properly like, oh fuck. She was like, 30 quid. And the manager's like, right. And then did it all. And I'm now like, if this is a selling tactic, they have got like a script.
Yeah. Like they've done some like acting classes. Yeah.
And then the manager like types it all in, gets it ready. The phone still doesn't work. I end up getting my card out, and then the manager turned to me and went, "She must really like you if she's doing this deal for you." And I was like, "Right, okay." So I'm like, "Okay, well, this is feeling real now."
Yeah.
Like I'm slightly worried. I feel really bad for this girl because I feel like she's getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Trying to do something nice for me that I don't even fucking want.
Yeah.
So eventually it all goes through, and I was like, "Okay, cool." I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." She was like, "No worries, no worries." I walked away, and I was like, I got the receipt, so I was like, oh, well, I'll see what it says on the receipt.
Yeah.
Like, surely the staff discount's what, 10%? That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
The recommended retail price was, I think it was like 90 quid, and I paid 30 for it. So she gave me this like 66% discount.
Wow. And it's something you don't even have you used it?
No, it's sitting on my floor.
What is it?
Like an exfoliating cream.
What's that?
It like gets rid of blackheads and stuff. Like you rub it on your skin and it cleans it.
Oh, I think I've tried that before and I couldn't keep up with it.
I mean, it was very impressive when she did it. Like she was like, "Look at it on your wrist. It's getting all this grime out of your skin." And I was like, "Oh, geez, yeah. Why are my wrists so dirty?"
See, every now and again, right?
Why did she? No, Liam. No.
What?
I'm not gonna let you distract me. I need to find out why. Like I know that I've spoken to you about this already, and we sort of came to the conclusion she was just nice.
Yeah.
But that's such a weird... Like, that is really nice. But why?
Well...
Why would you do that for a random stranger?
Okay, maybe, right? Maybe she kind of looked at you, she was like, I'm not getting a sale here at all. Like, I don't know. Yeah. If she works on commission, she's going to get more commission by having you pay, like, £30 than by not having you pay at all.
Yeah, but then at the risk that you're going to get in trouble, because it legitimately looked like she was getting in trouble.
That is the risk she took.
Okay, well, maybe.
Or maybe she was just really nice.
Surely she wouldn't get commission on that.
Okay, maybe she saw you and was like, Jesus Christ, she needs all the help she can get. And
that's the thing. That's where I'm like, is that the actual reason?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
The thing with that sort of stuff is every now and again, Kat will make me go into one of those types of shops. Not like a really expensive one like that, but something like the Body Shop, which is more of a retail chain. And
it's still expensive, like you said.
Yeah. It's not like 90 quid for a little pot, but it's still more than it's worth, really. And every now and again, I'll be like, all right, I'm going to try and get something to, like, help my face out or whatever.
Yeah.
And I can do it for about a week, and then I don't see any results. I'm like, I'm sick of this. I'm bored. I'm not going to do it anymore. But, like, I've tried all sorts of things. Like, we've tried, like, those strips that you put on. Not like a face mask, but like I don't know what they're called, like a strip, and then you peel it off, and it's meant to bring all of the like yucky stuff out of your skin, and
yeah.
I can't deal with it.
Well, your skin's not like
my nose is really bad. I've got to fix my nose somehow, but nothing I've tried has worked. And also, after waxing, I was recommended this like tub with like beads. It's like a gel with beads in.
Yeah, that's also like exfoliate.
Yeah,
dead skin
I'm meant to use
stuff.
that after waxing, and it's meant to help, but I don't think it does. I've tried it.
Yeah,
just smells faintly okay.
Nice,
but
it's just weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
It was just a weird experience. It was just that moment where I looked at the receipt and I was like, especially the whole time me being like, I'm pretty positive this is a sales tactic.
Yeah.
And then slowly being like, maybe it isn't. And then seeing how much of a discount I'd gotten on it, I was like, oh Jesus, what a lovely thing for that person to do. But I now feel even worse that she got in trouble for it.
I think really, you should be using it like in honour of that woman.
Well, no, because I'm worried that it'll be really good, and then I'll have to spend 90 quid getting another one.
That's
Ellie cannot afford that.
No, but surely it's better to use one and never any more than not use one at all, right? That you've already paid for.
Was that like, did you just turn the it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved before? Did you just turn that into a thing about exfoliating cream?
Yep. Did it work?
Yeah, it kind of made sense.
Cool, good.
I think it might have been a bit too deep for exfoliating cream.
You never know.
Well, the other thing I did, Liam, let's move on to that because that's more interesting and less confusing.
I know, we did spend about 10 minutes talking about that last topic.
Yeah, sorry. It's a long story, but I have to tell the whole thing to make it have the impact of how confused I was.
Well, I think our listeners are going to feel that impact.
Good, I'm glad. I went to see Hamilton, Liam, finally.
Hey, let's take... Well, so you got this as a Christmas present for...
Yeah, for Mum and Dad.
Yeah, and I mean, you've only had to wait, what, like three-ish months?
Yeah, but that 3-ish months has been hell, because as you know, and I think we maybe spoke about on here, I listened to the Hamilton soundtrack for non-stop for like 2 of those months.
Okay.
Which was, I put myself through torture.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is such a good soundtrack, and now I have to wait.
That is, and I think that's the other thing is, you listen to the soundtrack and you're like, oh, it's amazing, but then when you see it, the problem I had is I didn't listen to the soundtrack before I went the first time, which is why I wanted to go a second time, because it was so overwhelming, like having it all happening and also trying to like listen as it was happening as well.
Yeah.
And it was too overwhelming. I don't think I appreciated it the first time as much as I did the second time.
See, I did because I'd listened to the soundtrack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then I said to my mum and dad, because after I think I started listening to the soundtrack, and then you were like, well, yeah, I'd actually say you should listen to it before you go. And I was like, oh, good, I'm doing that, but slightly too early. So mum and dad both listened to it before we went and saw it as well. And I think that helped, because the thing that, like, listening to it first means that you sort of understand the story.
Yeah, but not the nuances necessarily.
There were a couple of bits that mum was like, oh, I didn't even realise that in the song. And I was like, oh, I realised that's what was happening, but I didn't know... Yeah, like why or whatever.
Sometimes it can be hard in the songs to necessarily pick out who is talking to who at times.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm wondering. I think there was a song where I was like, oh, I didn't realise that was Aaron Burr singing that or something.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing though.
It's so good. Thing.
Yeah. It's just all the stage, all the like the acting on the stage, all the production that goes into it, and like. They just do such amazing things on that stage to make you feel like you're watching it actually happening. It's mind-blowing.
The only thing that I would love to experience, obviously, besides seeing it with like Lin-Manuel Miranda playing the lead part.
I was going to say, that's
I would love to experience it in New York, just for the reaction during, I think it's the first cabinet battle meeting thing.
Yeah.
Where they're like, you could have been anywhere, but you're here with us in New York City, ready for a cabinet meeting. I just imagine that line has like a response in New York that's like...
Did yours not get a response?
Not really, no.
Dude, my audience, we were so into all those bits. Like, literally, when he did that, and he was like, you could have been anywhere, the whole audience went, woo! We did the woo. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome.
Both times I've seen it, I don't think I've had that.
And there's the bit with when Thomas Jefferson comes back from France.
Yeah.
Was he doing like pumping up your audience and getting you all to join in? Because that I was like, this is so good because everyone's just joining in. Like, I don't know, it made it all feel awesome. Yeah. But I think they were surprised that we joined in with Cabinet Battle because there was a moment where they were sort of like, oh, okay.
Were there, because you listened to the soundtrack a lot.
Yeah.
Did you notice at any point anything different?
Well, yeah. So I've heard that the American version and the English version are different. They tried to make King George slightly more camp in the English version and less... But to me, it's very similar.
Yeah,
and I
definitely.
didn't actually notice that at all.
Yeah.
Like, neither version, I was like, as a British person, I'm offended.
Yeah, no, but we're not like
maybe
that.
he gets... But then I think seeing it as well probably makes a difference, because there's stuff that King George does on stage that you don't realise he's doing when you're listening to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, that's hilarious and amazing.
Like there's a very
love
specific bit with the lighting that is brilliant.
Yeah. But yeah, so that it's, I guess those bits might be different. Like, because there was a bit, I don't know if he did it, where he stayed on stage for one of the songs.
Yeah.
And then he has these bits in his songs where he like jiggles his shoulders. He's very like, the first song this character does is he stands perfectly still the entire song, and then I think right at the end he does like a little tiny dance.
Shimmy. Yeah.
And then in his second or third, like, he reprises that song a couple of times, and in one of the other ones he like dances for the whole song, and it's still just this little shoulder wiggle and a bit of flamboyant like moving his cane or whatever. But he then stays on stage, and he was doing that dance through a different song, and the guy that played Aaron Burr, so I don't think he does it every time, because the guy that plays Aaron Burr literally turned around to say something to him in character, and King George was just behind him going, do, do, do. And he literally, the guy playing Aaron Burr, like, burst out laughing and had to, like, take a moment.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't think he normally does that. I think he's doing it just to be weird.
Yeah, no, so there was definitely a song where he stayed, like...
Yeah, I think he stayed on stage, but I think he was
yeah.
doing something different. It might have been not even the dance. It might have been something else he was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
To put him off as a joke. But I was like, that kind of stuff is why
Did you
stages
notice,
break.
and I don't know if this was just for the benefit of the UK audience or not, but it's not on the soundtrack. During a song, I think it's during when a character dies maybe, there's a letter that's read out that isn't on the soundtrack. It's definitely something where I think it's Aaron Burr reads out, and it's not like...
I know there were a few bits where something like that happened that wasn't on the soundtrack, but the soundtrack doesn't have a lot. There's a lot of interstitial bits that aren't on in the soundtrack.
Well, I didn't notice a lot. Just that was the only one I really noticed.
Early on, when there's a lot of the songs flow together, but then there'll be like these almost
like musical
there are like
bits.
these music stings, and then people like saying a few minor things that I was like, oh, that's not in the soundtrack. That doesn't go there. Like Story of Tonight and stuff had a couple of moments like that where they were like, I don't know, had a little bit in between to explain something, or to not explain, but like just to emphasize.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, that was the only one I noticed because it was like quite a significant. Like it was like they were reading out a letter. I don't think it even rhymed necessarily, so it was very much like I don't know. Anyway, what was your favourite bit?
The whole thing.
Anything that surprised you?
No.
Okay.
I cried the exact amount of times. Oh no, actually that's true. I cried an extra time than I've ever cried before. Because listeners, I cry when I listen to the soundtrack because it's very emotional. I can't even remember what song it was, but there was a song that I've never cried at before that I was just like, oh, seeing it live and how it fits into the story made it way more emotional than I thought it would be. And I can't remember what song it was.
I can't help you.
No, I know. The problem is there's so many songs in there that I cry at.
Yeah. I
left at the end. I turned to me and mum and dad were leaving, and I was like, "So, how many times did you guys cry?" Knowing my dad would be like, "None," but my mum was like, "Oh, I didn't cry," and I was like, "Oh, I cried a lot."
But you do that anyway.
Yeah, it's very emotional.
It is. There is a bit that nearly got to me.
Quiet Uptown?
No, it's just a little bit before that.
Burn?
Bit after that.
The bit. Okay, so yeah, if it's after Burn, yeah.
It's the actress's reaction.
Yeah. Yes, I think I'm assuming I know what bit you're talking about.
Yeah,
which also gets me
because you don't hear that reaction in the soundtrack. No. So then when you see it on stage, it's just delivered so well.
The song just ends very sadly, but then on stage there's an extra bit, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly. Which we were being very careful here, listeners. It might be annoying if you've seen Hamilton, but we're trying to not spoil things for people that haven't seen it.
Yeah. Sorry. But also, you're welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone should go see Hamilton when it goes down in price, because it is very expensive.
It is expensive, but it's kind of worth it.
That's why someone at work had said to me, like, oh, let me know if it's worth the money. And I was like, it is. Like, I spent a lot.
It's just, I'm sure I said this last time we spoke about it, But every time I describe it to people, I'm like, it's such a hard sell. Because someone says to you, what is that about?
It's a rapping musical about American history, specifically around the time of the War of Independence, focusing specifically on Alexander Hamilton, who dealt with the financial establishment of the United States.
And was one of the founding fathers.
I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, exactly. And every time I try and describe it, I've even tried to use, like, because I've watched interviews with Lin-Manuel Miranda, and the way he describes it, where it's like, oh, so we're trying to tell, like, the story of America then by using, like, the cast of America now, so the cast look like what America looks like now, where it's all, like, people of colour, and we're trying to use, like, hip-hop and rap and R&B, and every time I try and tell people this, you just see their eyes glaze over, and they're just like, I don't want to go see that.
The selling... The bit that I have used to describe it to people, which I also got from seeing him talking about it, was it's... Alexander Hamilton is a spiritual father to the entire hip-hop movement.
Yeah.
He's a man that started with nothing, worked his way to the top to get everything, and lived this, like, and wrote, like, put his words on paper for a living. That's how he made his money. Yeah. And I quite like that description of it, because I'm like, I could see that people being like, oh yeah, that does sound kind of cool. And they watch it and they're like, wait a minute, this is financial stuff. And then they're like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like one of my favourite things is to listen to Stephen Colbert describe it, where he was like, oh, okay, so I'm going to go watch a play about Alexander Hamilton. Okay. And he's like 5 minutes into it, he's like, oh, this is actually very clever. I wonder if they can sustain this. It's like, by the end, I'm crying about Alexander Hamilton, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yep.
So good.
Oh, it's so good. Everyone go watch it, but don't if you don't have the money. I don't want to pressurise you into watching it.
I wish.
Listen to the soundtrack. Legitimately.
I wish that there was, like,
just listen to the soundtrack.
A way of watching it, not necessarily going to watch it, but like like not a film of it, but like a video recording.
Yeah, because I know that they've done that before for musicals, but they don't seem to do it. Like Cats has that.
Yeah,
I know that the Cats musical had a DVD release because I know that my parents owned it.
They have filmed Hamilton because they filmed it for some American, like, library, like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
like an archive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been made available because obviously as soon as it does, people will be like, well, why do I have to go and see it live?
Yeah. That's the thing, is we have to wait for it to come off the stage, which isn't going to happen because it's so fucking... It's like the biggest musical that's been released for years.
Yeah. It's just... And it's the other thing that's really fascinating to me after watching it is reading up all of the influences and all of the little, like the musical nods, like the 10 Dual Commandments is based off of some, like, hip-hop song which has that list kind of motive in it.
Yeah.
And it's just so good. And, like, there's just little lines, like there was, like, a Twitter exchange where when he first meets Eliza, and there's literally, like, one line where he delivers it with, like, a sort of growly voice, which someone tweeted him and was like, oh, was this in, like, homage?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, was this in, like, homage to, I think, like, Shaggy? Or someone like that.
Yeah.
And then my mum responded, like, that was why that line is delivered like that.
That's cool. It's also got My Brother and Me podcast gets referenced in it, which is one of my favourite things, because I love them.
Which I think we've spoken about, not on the podcast, but just offline,
Yeah, it's one of my favourite things. I heard about that, and it's in My Brother and Me, they have a running gag where if one of them says unless, like, they'll say something really weird and be like, that's impossible. Unless. And then the other two, after one another, go, unless. But in Hamilton, there is a bit where one of them says, unless, and then everyone else sings it. They all sing it. It's so good. It's that. And he was like, yes, that is because I love My Brother and Me. And they do it. And I was like, that's so good.
It's insane. It is insane. My bold prediction has gone out the window.
Yeah, nearly an hour in. So unless housekeeping's real short,
we've still got to do reviews yet.
Oh God, fuck! We've done an hour catching up with.
We've been busy.
Let's do it. Now it's time, listeners, for Liam and Ellie have done some things. Here are the things they've done and their reviews of those things that they've done.
I went to the cinema.
What did you see? Fighting
with My Family.
I'm interested in this because it looks good.
It is good. It's good. So for anyone that doesn't know, this was directed by Stephen Merchant.
Yep.
It's based off of a documentary, and I know
which I think is called Fighting with My Family.
Possibly, I don't know what documentary is called. I know that we have a lot of wrestling fans listening to this podcast.
We might have some wrestling fans.
A lot of
we
wrestling
don't
fans. Know. This film is all about
Paige,
the wrestler.
Yep. And her brother, kind of.
Yeah, well, kind of her family. So she. Yeah. Why this film became a thing is The Rock was apparently over here filming one of the Fast and Furious in London. Couldn't sleep. Saw this documentary on Channel 4 one night. Was like, I want to make a film about that. And he had worked with Stephen Merchant on the classic film The Tooth Fairy.
Oh, God.
And he got in touch with Stephen Merchant about writing it. And then Stephen Merchant was like, I would also like to direct this. And The Rock produced it. The Rock has a cameo. You've seen most of his cameo in the trailer, and it's brilliant. You've got Lena Headey, who you would know from Game of Thrones as Cersei. She plays the mum. You got Nick Frost, who plays the dad. They do the thing that I love whenever a film is made off of like real events. They have the thing in the credits where you see some of the actual documentary it's based off of, and there's a line in the film that you're like, oh, that's probably just something that they put in just to make it funnier, and then you see that line delivered in the credits, and you're like, oh wow, that's what these people were like, because like, so Nick Frost plays the dad, who's this like big guy with a mohawk, and just when you see Nick Frost, it's not really the sort of role that you maybe would necessarily think of him as doing, because he's normally quite the like, buffoon's the wrong word, but like,
but he's a funny guy.
Character. This guy is sort of the sort of guy who's like, you know, a bit thuggish, a bit loutish. Yeah. But just brilliant. You've got Florence Pugh, who plays Paige, and then you've got her brother, who is played by Jack Lowden. And the story is essentially they've grown up in this family that's just obsessed with wrestling. Like, the mum and dad met because of wrestling, and the kids have just been brought up in this world. They have their own like amateur wrestling that they do in like the north of England. And what I thought was really interesting is it shows you they did this like so the brother ran this like wrestling camp for like other teenagers and stuff in the area. And the way the film depicts it, I don't know how close to truth it is, but like, kids that are maybe going down like the wrong path would get involved in this, and he would kind of try and use this as a way of like keeping them out of things like gangs and drug dealing.
I saw Steve Merchant on The Last Leg the other night talking about it, and he said no, that is, the brother is literally just this really nice guy who does that to help people.
So there was a bit in it that I was like, oh, that's a bit far fetched, or maybe far fetched was wrong. I was like, oh, I don't know about that. Where they have a blind kid. And the brother,
oh no, that's real, yeah.
The brother teaches him wrestling, and then at the end they've got like the little credits where it's like, oh, so Paige went on to do this and this and that. The blind kid become a professional wrestler. Yeah, that's insane.
He taught him to like, wasn't it? He like taught him to like pace out the ring and stuff. Is what I heard. That's Steve Merchant was like, he like took on this blind kid and taught him to wrestle. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's
the brother sounds like a really nice guy.
He is, but the way it's also pitched is so the brother and sister are growing up. The WWE are coming to England to hold like auditions. Yeah. The brother and sister both get involved, but only the sister gets chosen to go out to America and
join the WWE.
Well, to join like the essentially the training program for
NXT.
Yeah, that's it. Well, not even that though. So it's like a boot camp that they have to go through first. Yeah. So it's something like, I'm not a huge wrestling fan. I don't know a lot about wrestling. When I watched it, as people who have listened to our wrestling sort of episode will know, I kind of watched like the Attitude Era, but that was when women's wrestling wasn't taken very seriously.
No, and from what I understand, Paige is the turning point.
That's what the credits say. Yeah,
which is why I really want to see it, because like, I was the same. Like, I knew women's wrestling from back then, where it was just a jokey thing that they kind of did.
They did like bra and panty matches, which you'd not get away with now.
No, because it's wrong.
Yeah, and I think, in all honesty, I don't know why, I much prefer watching like the female UFC stuff, and I think now that like the female wrestling's actually being taken more seriously, I would probably prefer watching that than like.
Yeah, no, I genuinely like that was the bit I was getting into back when we did that wrestling episode. Was I was fascinated by Bayley, Paige,
and now you got Ronda Rousey doing it.
Well, I'm less interested in her because
why's that?
It kind of annoys me when a UFC fight. Like, I don't know how she's done since then because I haven't watched it since her first match.
Yeah,
but like. I don't know, it kind of annoys... I get when a wrestler goes to UFC, and I'm like, fair play, if you get your ass kicked, I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah.
But when a UFC fighter comes to wrestling, I'm like, yeah, really? Like, I don't know. Because it feels like they ride in on the coattails of being just a successful fighter, and it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, but I think Ronda Rousey did also do, like, she's been in movies and stuff based off of UFC, so which that acting element is part of the wrestling side of it. Yeah, but then you
skip through, like, NXT, it feels...
Yeah.
It feels like they haven't earned it. I don't know. That's my completely uneducated view.
I haven't seen any of Ronda Rousey doing WWE. So I follow her on like Facebook and Twitter, and it's always amusing when she'll be like tweeting like, "Oh, I can't believe this wrestler said this thing about me. I'm gonna really like show them up in the ring next time." And it's like, I know that it's all part of like the illusion, but also a part of me is just like, it's not real, right? You've also got Vince Vaughn, who plays like the coach who runs the boot camp and stuff.
I think I'd forgotten that he was in it.
Yeah, he's good. It's okay. It is good. It's really enjoyable. I have one minor quibble, and I don't know how it played out, right? But I can't discuss it without doing spoilers, so never mind. Okay. I have a quibble with the end, basically.
Okay.
But otherwise, I super enjoyed it. 3.5 out of 5. It's not going to change your world or anything, but it's a pleasant thing to watch. Like, even if you know nothing about wrestling, it's still entertaining because it is still like Hamilton. It is still the rags to riches story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's this like working class family from like the north of England.
Yeah,
who it's interesting seeing someone who has had this dream and then watch it like actually be fulfilled, because I think we're so used to hearing that story of like, oh, I have a dream, but it's never happening. You could have all the talent in the world, but in the UK, you just don't seem to hear that story of actually talented people following their dream and doing well.
But I see what you're saying.
It seems, at least from my perspective, to be more overshadowed by people that are like, I want to be on Celebrity Big Brother and be famous for doing fuck all.
Well, yeah, but that's because you just sit on Facebook all day.
That's true. Have you been to cinema?
I haven't been to the cinema, but I have watched a series, Liam.
Netflix?
Yep, Netflix series. Umbrella Academy.
I've watched the first episode.
I really liked it. I think I've not read the original source material, so I don't know how like accurate it is to the comics.
Nope.
But it's a good superhero TV show. It gets weird.
Well, I mean, it starts pretty weird with like the whole monkey.
The whole premise is weird.
Yeah.
But it gets weirder, Liam. The more you watch it, the weirder it gets.
Okay, cool. Well, we started it, and then we had the whole sofa debacle, and I didn't want to watch something like that on the TV that can't handle motion very well.
To be fair, you could probably get away with it. There's not a whole lot of action scenes.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't rely on action scenes.
Yeah. A
lot of it is, like, character stuff.
Well, it's got Ellen Page in it, so that's, I'm obviously
Ellen Page is really good in it, obviously.
She's good in pretty much
all the cast are really good. Like, I love all of them.
Yeah.
Just listeners, Klaus is my favourite character, because obviously he's
Which one is he?
He's the... it's in the
first...
big
one?
The druggy brother.
Oh, I found him a bit much in the first episode.
You've only seen episode 1, so obviously, because his character is I'm too much.
Yeah.
That is his character.
Yeah,
that's
why I did sort of say from the first episode.
I know. But yeah, he's... I just love him. I love all of them, to be fair.
Because I assume with him, you're going to see why he's like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Klaus, love him.
Fair.
I'd give it like a... I'm going to give it a 4.
Okay.
I was considering 3.5, but I think it gets a 4.
Has it been left open for a second season?
So, I don't know, because I don't know how the graphic novel ends. It has an ending that you 100%... It must be ready open for a second season.
Okay.
The show is weird enough that the ending could also just be the ending, and I would be like, yeah, that makes sense that that's how it ends.
It has seemed to be doing quite well though, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's.
I think it will get a second season, because they did set up some stuff that I'm like, that's definitely second season material.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's just the fact that it is also weird enough that, and it would be kind of great if they just went, no, that's the end. Yeah. Because you'd be like, sorry, what the fuck?
Fair enough. I'll probably have a review of that now that we've got the cinema room back. Maybe next episode, maybe the one after that.
Cool.
But we are intending to continue watching it.
Please do. I want to talk to someone about it.
We will. I've read a book.
Ooh, what book did you read?
It's another bizarro one.
I think the last two you'd read were Help, a Bear is Eating Me?
Yeah, which was average. And it was one called Ape Shit that was It was bizarre, but somewhat moorish when you're reading it, because you're just like, well, what's the next weird thing that's going to happen?
Yeah. It's from our conversations about Bizarro, it is basically just people being like, how weird can I be? Or some of them seem to be, how weird can I be? And just keep going.
Yeah.
And then, like, I think you've described it to me as it's a concept, and then it's like, no, it's the concept. So, like, Help, a Bear is Eating Me is someone went, can I write a story about a man being eaten by a bear? Yes, here it is.
Yeah, so I have brought one. I couldn't get it on Kindle or anything, which is the first time there was one that I couldn't get on Kindle.
Yeah.
So I've brought the paperback of this one. I'm gonna, if I can find it, I'm gonna tell you the concept, because this will exactly prove what I mean when I say it's a concept first type of thing. So let me just give you an example if I can find it. There once was an odd reclusive little man who was in love with his house. He loved his house, not in the way that normal people love their homes. His was a more intimate love, like the love between two humans. He loved his house so much that he asked it to marry him, and he believed that his house happily replied with a yes. Unfortunately, their love was to be torn apart the day before their wedding, on the day of the Great House Holocaust. On this day, every house in the world collapsed for no explainable reason. It was as if they killed themselves and took many of their occupants with them. Distraught and despairing over the death of his fiancée, this man must go on a quest to find out what happened to his beloved home.
Just why have that or not even the subplot? Why does the main plot seem to be a man loves his house? Like, the house Holocaust bit, apart from being maybe a bad choice of words that they chose there, like a house genocide would have kind of made sense. But like, why is that not the main plot? Why does it need a guy who wants to fuck his house?
I don't know.
Do
you see what I mean when it's like books? It's concept?
Yeah.
Like that. So
like, it's not a metaphor.
Nah, it's not. To be fair, the comic that we're going to talk about later almost would fit.
I'm going to argue with you and say it doesn't. So
I'd say it was concept first.
I don't think it is.
Right. Anyway, so the book. So I've now got into this habit of when I go on holiday, I take a bizarro with me. I took The Sorrow King by Andersen Prunty, which is about a small rural town in, I want to say, Ohio.
I don't think people care if you get the place wrong.
Amanda will, because she lives in Ohio.
I don't think she'll care if you get the place wrong.
I think it's Ohio. It's hard. There's not a lot of information about it online, so it's hard. Yeah, it is. I found it. Ohio. There we go. So it's a small town in Ohio called Gastañeda, if you've heard of that, Amanda. I don't know. It's about children have started to commit suicide, and the news is reporting on it as if it's this suicide virus that's spreading through the school. Okay. When I say children, it's like, I think the youngest is about 12, but it's predominantly teenagers. But they're all at school, so they all go to this school, and the main character is this guy called Stephen, and he's just like, he's been living in Ohio for the last couple of years. About 2 years ago, his mum died. He's now had to move in with his father. He's just kind of like struggling. His father is also struggling in his own ways, and Stephen meets this girl called Elise. Now, they meet because Stephen has just taken to just walking the streets at night, and he sees her while doing that at some point, and they eventually get to talking. And there's this place called the Obscura, which is all explained in the book. It's just weird. So it starts with Stephen waking up from a dream, and he writes down a name. He writes down 4 names, and the first 3 are kids that have already killed themselves, and then the 4th is a kid that has killed himself that night. So Stephen's like, how could I have known this? and it's about how his dreams and this girl all tie into what's going on, why the kids are all doing it, how this all happened. It's called The Sorrow King. That might give you a hint as to what is going on. It's sort of like Bizarro tries to meet horror.
Yeah, because it almost... so far, the concept doesn't sound that Bizarro to me.
No, in all honesty, this is probably like the least Bizarro of the Bizarro books that I've read.
Yeah.
But in like the reviews and stuff on Goodreads of it, it is still described as a Bizarro book. Okay. But yeah, it is interesting. There are like a couple of moments that are bizarre. This is the way to describe it. It's like a horror movie with a horror story with Bizarro elements in it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's the Sorrow King is a thing, and it was okay. It wasn't like a Moorish read because it's dark.
Yeah. And
somewhat depressing. And probably not like the best book to be reading on holiday.
No, yeah, it's a weird one for you to have chosen.
Picture me just sat by the pool while this couple are necking in a jacuzzi and I'm there reading my Bizarro.
Who do you think the Sorrow King is?
Yeah, where did he come from? And it's just like it wasn't bad. It just 2.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never expecting you to come with a Bizarro book and go 5 out of 5.
It'd be amazing if that happened, though, wouldn't it?
But I don't think it would, because I feel like the moment it got 5 out of 5, we'd look into it and it'd be like, a lot of people are saying this isn't a Bizarro book. Like, I don't know, the whole and I don't want to diss the whole concept that I haven't even fucking read, but from what I have heard from Liam's description of Bizarro, it just sounds to me like the concept itself is almost antithesis to getting high ratings and being a good book.
Yeah, it's like cult cinema. It's like the book version of cult cinema, right?
Yeah.
Because you know, if there's not really many cult films that you'd watch and be like, oh, that's a 5 out of 5, because part of the appeal is that
it's not
great. Yeah, and it's also it's very fringe, so it's going to be stuff that might appeal to like a real small subset of people, but most are just going to be like, Like my goal with a Bizarro book is to find one that I genuinely think you'd enjoy, that I can be like, right, read this because it's probably...
I'm never... Mate, silly you. I'm never going to read any books that you recommend me ever again.
No, I've got to rectify this wrong. But now I'm so aware that it needs to be like a genuinely amazing book.
I won't read one again unless you have reread it recently, I think is my rule.
Yeah, and that's a good rule to have.
Because that was the issue with American Psycho, was you were like, I haven't read this since I was a kid,
and
so
Fluke.
I don't know. Yeah.
Which, you know, obviously weren't at the same levels, but yeah.
No.
But equally, right...
Fluke was great compared to American Psycho.
To be fair, American Psycho wasn't entirely me, it was also part of me being like, this is a book that is highly regarded.
Oh, yeah, well, people are wrong.
But yeah, so that's my goal. I will hopefully one day find a Bizarro book, but equally, I'm not reading a lot of them because I'm distracted with my secret projects that I'm working on.
Yeah, right, okay. Yeah.
Housekeeping?
Let's keep the house.
Can I keep the house, please, sir?
Our stings between segments are getting weirder and weirder, but like so slowly over time.
The first thing I want to discuss...
yes.
We had a recommendation from Frankie, not Twitter Frankie, your friend Frankie.
Yep.
That I thought we could discuss on the podcast.
Also your friend.
Huh?
Also your friend. You play RPGs with Frankie.
Oh, yeah. But like, you've known her longer.
Yeah.
She recommended that we do RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah.
And I just thought you might want to take this moment on the podcast to explain that.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, but I thought there might be reasons behind it.
There are. RuPaul in the past has said some pretty transphobic things. I'm not saying people shouldn't watch him because they can. I don't care. It's just in the past. I don't know if his views have changed. But, yeah, he's been pretty mean about trans people that have gone on that show and the concept of trans people in general. So, I'm probably not going to do it.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to do it, but it's going to be a shit culture swap if I'm the
only
only one that's done it.
And I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah. So, Yeah, I just wanted, if other people were listening, they might have been thinking, oh, I'm going to recommend this, and now, on the record, Ellie ain't interested.
No.
So, Frankie from Twitter has sent us an email.
Cool.
It is titled Anime. I should probably give her actual Twitter handle. It's @BrissFrankie.
If the subject line is... I deliberately didn't read this because I knew you'd be reading it out on the show. If the subject line is anime, I'm fully on board immediately.
Okay, it says, hello. So here I am with an anime
if
suggestion.
The content is now fuck anime, Liam should never watch it again.
No. So here I am with an anime suggestion for Liam. Have to admit, my taste is probably more in line with Ellie's, as when I went through my list of completed anime, I found a lot of it to be quite fantasy, sci-fi based, which I'm not sure is your thing, Liam. Then I saw one that ticks your boxes. It's coming of age with some horror, so hopefully you'll like it. It's called Shinsekai Yori from the New World. It's available on Crunchyroll here, so I figure it's a good chance it is over there too. And I get premium access guest passes every month for them. Every month for them, so can throw some codes your way if you need them to check it out. So first, I'd like to say thanks, Frankie, for that offer. If we can't find it anyway, we might take you up on that. And secondly, I'd like to say thank you for actually finding an anime that ticks my boxes, which Ellie has been adamant not to do because she doesn't want to bend to my will.
Sorry, we have done coming of age anime before. Princess Mononoke is about a young man who's exiled from his tribe and comes of age and learns to cope with the world and all its evils. So you can poke that up your ass.
I don't know if the listeners could hear me rolling my eyes then.
It made a very distinct sound.
Yeah. So, description from MAL, because I could never explain it well. Following a sudden outbreak of psychokinesis in 0.1% of the population, a rapid transformation swept the world. The godlike ability to manipulate matter remotely turned many power wielders to violence, inciting a long period of upheaval. Finally, after a chaotic era shaped by the rise and fall of oppressive regimes, the psychic humans were able to achieve a fragile peace by isolating their society, creating a new world bound by complex rules. In the town of Kamizu 66, 12-year-old Saki Watanabe has just awakened to her powers and is relieved to rejoin her friends, the mischievous Satori Ashina, the shy Mamoru Ilhu, the cheerful Maria Azuki. I'm probably butchering all these names, but I'm trying.
I know.
And Shun Anuma, a mysterious boy whom Saki admires at Sage Academy, a special school for psychics. However, unease looms as Saki begins to question the fate of those unable to awaken to their powers, and the children begin to get involved with secretive matters such as the rumoured tainted cats said to abduct children. Shinsekai Yori tells the unique coming-of-age story of Saki and her friends as they journey to grow into their roles in the supposed utopia. Accepting these roles, however, might not come easy when faced with the dark and shocking truths of society and the impending havoc born from the new world. So, have you heard of this one before, Ellie?
No, I don't think so. It sounds like I will enjoy it.
Yeah, I definitely think we should do this somewhat soon.
Here's the thing, Liam. I want to do it, and I'm fully up for doing it.
Yeah.
My worry is that we'll do it.
Yeah.
You'll go, oh yeah, this is great. This is exactly what I want. And then I'm going to go, well, fuck you. This is like, I have presented so many animes that have this kind of storyline that you have said no to because you're being a sulky little moody person about it. Like, the whole, watch Eureka 7 as well. Frankie, you please tell me you've watched Eureka 7 or Eureka 7, depending on how you pronounce it. And if you have, please tell Liam that he would enjoy that if he would, because it's such a good anime.
The one that I think, out of all of the ones I've heard you talk about that I'm most like, oh, that might be up my street, is probably Tokyo Ghoul.
No, I don't think you'd like Tokyo Ghoul.
Why?
Because it does have a lot of, supernatural
maybe not.
Shit going on.
I honestly don't know. I don't know enough about anime to really,
I think you'd like Tokyo Ghoul for the sort of coming-of-age story. It's not quite coming of age. It's like coming into your own.
Yeah.
After
the thing is, right? now that we've done Barefoot Gen, I'm so happy to do more anime because I do genuinely want to find some anime that I would enjoy because there's it's like I've always said, there's so much out there that I can't just blanket say I hate it all.
No, well let's do this soon. Let's get this on the coming up list.
Yeah, well you're in charge of that list.
Am I?
Yeah,
I'm the editor.
Yeah, and you're in charge of that list.
Oh, sorry. Well, are you worried that it will cut into your busy time running the social media?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're in charge of that list. So it's because no, in all honesty, it's because I'm happy to do pretty much anything that our listeners suggest, but you have more of a finicky. You want to veto things and all this sort of stuff. So
there's literally 2 things I've vetoed.
Go on.
The Godfather.
Yep.
Because I just know it will bore me and then everyone will be upset with me.
Yep.
And Sir Billy, because I refuse to watch that.
And RuPaul's Drag Race, so now we're at 3.
I'm not even going to count that as a veto. I don't want to watch something that someone who has been transphobic has done. That's not a veto, Liam. That's a moral thing that I'm choosing to do.
It's a veto.
That's not a fucking veto.
So I'm going to let you keep on top of this list. So add this one, whatever this is. And also, I am sorry for butchering all the names.
That's fine.
So Frankie goes on to say, and just while we're talking anime, I also highly recommend a short one, as in episodes are only about 7 minutes each, called Tonari no Sekukun, The Master of Killing Time. I should just skip the Japanese bits and just read the English bits, shouldn't I?
Yeah. But no, I don't think you should. I think you should try and read the Japanese.
I'm trying.
I think it's endearing.
It's also on Crunchyroll. Fun, just side note here. On Criterion Crack, the podcast I co-host with Amanda, we've just released Seven Samurai, and that's another episode where I'm there just trying my best but butchering Japanese names.
So if listeners really enjoy hearing Liam try and say Japanese names,
it's really bad, and I know it could come across as a disrespectful thing. It's not disrespectful. It's just
I don't think it comes across as disrespectful. People realise it's because you don't know the pronunciation.
Good. So it's also on Crunchyroll and is basically just about a girl and boy who sit next to each other in class, and she gets distracted by things he's doing, which doesn't sound overly interesting, but trust me, it's so great. Is this one that you've heard of?
I don't think so.
Okay. And just because, here's some favourites. So I'm going to go through them, and I want you to just jump in if it's one you've heard of, or you've watched, or you like, or anything, okay?
Yes.
Chai Heya Furu.
I mean, part of the problem is going to be I'm not going to know if I've watched it because you're definitely not saying the names right.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it.
Death Parade.
Oh, have I seen?
That's a maybe.
Maybe.
Flip Flappers.
I've heard of it but not watched it.
Frankie said, "This one is so weird, just like its name, but so fun."
Yeah, I think I've heard of it and heard that it's weird. I think it's been on my list of ones to do for a while.
Kill la Kill.
Have I ever watched Kill la Kill? Kill la Kill's a big one. That's a famous one.
Nagi no Asukara. Psycho Pass.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Space Dandy.
Yeah, Space Dandy's good.
Yuru Camp, aka Laid Back Camp. All of these except Death Parade and Psycho Pass are on Crunchyroll, at least in Frankie's region.
I think Psycho Pass was on Netflix because that's where I watched it.
Okay, here we go. And I'll finish this with an F1 update for Liam. So we got through all that anime stuff. Now we get to the good bit.
Moving on, culture swap.
Nope.
Swap my culture.
I skipped watching one of his films this weekend as my Saturday got a little ruined for movie watching. But since last time, I've watched We Are Your Friends, which we covered with the Zack Attack guys, Bad Neighbours and The Paperboy. I was not a fan of We Are Your Friends. I'm not into that kind of music and just found it a little dull. Bad Neighbours was pretty fun. I couldn't help but think of High School Musical 2 Troy when he was being a dick and thinking how this was him a few years later. High
School Musical 2 Troy is a dick.
He is, and I love that Frankie's watching these films as being relating them back to High School Musical.
How does this character tie into the High School Musical Troys?
It's so good. As she goes on to say, I swear half his films are connected to the High School Musical films in my head now. Also, one very cool scene I had to rewind and watch again because I loved how it was done so much. When his girl and friend are going upstairs and he's just staring, and then his walk down the hallway, his staring, the music, the lighting, and everything was just so perfect. And then The Paperboy. It's been a while, and I don't even know what to think of this film. It kind of haunts me still, especially the ending, and I don't want to ever watch it again, but the performances were pretty good, so it was difficult to rank it when I usually go by enjoyment, but eventually decided on. And then Frankie has provided me a nice screenshot with her ranking of her Zac Efron films so far. At number 1, we've got Baywatch. Number 2, Bad Neighbours. Number 3, The Paperboy. Number 4, 17 again. Number 5, We Are Your Friends. And then Frankie says, and yep, no High School Musical films in the list anymore. It's just too hard to judge them against normal films, as they also have incredibly catchy songs which can't be separated from the films.
That's fair.
Love it. And then she said, oh, I almost forgot. Listen to your Paranormal Activity episode. That was pretty good for me because I didn't like the first film enough to keep watching, but I was curious what happened in the rest of the films, and now I know. But your discussion at the end about which to do next, I'm all for Phantasm. I picked up the box set a while ago, and I've only watched the first 2, but they are so fun and crazy and seem like the perfect kind of films to keep you going when you're watching them all in a row. This turned out longer than I thought it would. Oops. Anyway, hope you both have a great week.
I like the oops.
Honestly, I love it when Frankie sends like a long email. Like, I love when our listeners get in touch.
Yeah.
So
it is good.
We also had some correspondence on Twitter. I'll go through it quite quickly. Frankie tweeted us saying, as soon as we released our last episode, thanks for the good timing. Had a pretty shitty day, so happy I can listen to you two chat for a bit to improve things before I go to sleep. I'd go back to that, being like, damn, your day must have been bad if you're looking to us to improve it.
Yeah, fair point.
Hope we helped. And she said, yeah, you did, making me laugh as always. Also, it's totally fine to lie when it's to organise a surprise, Liam. You should just be happy that Kat is so thoughtful and caring to make sure she got you a good gift.
Just a quick check here, Liam. How many of the tweets that you're going to be reading out are people telling you that it's actually fine to lie in those situations?
Whatever, it's fine. Then me and you had a bit of a to and fro on Twitter, didn't we?
Well, a certain someone tried to slip it past me without. I think you didn't even like tag me in it, so that I wouldn't notice any notifications.
Well, I was seeing if you were paying attention to the Nerd on Nerd Twitter account.
No, I don't. So I'm lucky that I spotted it. You trying to rat me out.
No,
Liam was having a little bit of a go because there have been a few episode descriptions that, in Liam's eyes, are too short.
No, it's okay. It's not that. It's not that. Can I please explain my issue?
No, you can't. Let's move on.
No, I'm going to. Right. You do the description, and then at the end of it, you say, that's right, listeners, Ellie couldn't be bothered to do a long description this time, so she just went back to the old format. She's sorry about that. I mean, I'm Ellie, so writing this in third person is weird. Whatever, just enjoy the episode, please. Now, here's where I take umbrage, because from that, what I think you mean is the episode descriptions that you used to do a while back, where you would put like little timestamps of when we discussed certain things, like a film review or something.
Oh no, I wasn't referencing that at all.
What were you referencing?
I was just saying that some of my episode descriptions recently had been good ones.
You say recently?
Listen, shut your mouth. When we first started Nerd on Nerd, my descriptions of the episodes were like cookie cutter, repeat the same shit every time. And then I got bored of that. And I think you were like, they're not great, let's change it. So then I just started doing weirder descriptions and like that one that references me talking about myself in third person.
Yeah.
Because all the podcast descriptions on SoundCloud are written as if it isn't us doing it, which is one of the things I find hilarious when I then have to try and talk about stuff, because I always say like Ellie and Liam.
Yeah. That's what I do when I do the YouTube description.
No, I know. Everyone does it.
Yeah.
But I just find it hilarious that that's the thing we have to do as podcasters.
Okay.
So there was a period of time where I was writing longer descriptions, not including that shit at the end, just longer descriptions.
Okay.
And then I know that sometimes I will put out descriptions when I'm in a rush and like an episode's a week late.
Yeah.
That I will just be like, in this episode, we chat.
Yeah. So I started
I was
going
like,
back
I'm doing
through
that.
our episodes just to be like, what does the this time mean? I now don't know what you mean by this time, because all of the episode descriptions for the last, like, I think I went back like 6 episodes, which, to be fair, is about 2 to 3 months of Nerd on Nerd episodes.
Yeah.
And they were, like, my birthday one, which was the beginning of December. I'm going to read that description now.
I mean, do you want to do this? If you want to do this, we can do this, because I will just read out your YouTube description.
No, I'm going to read out my birthday. No,
let's play this game,
this
Liam.
is where I have the issue, right? My birthday
No, go on,
one
go for it.
Is we wish Liam a happy birthday in the latest episode of Nerd on Nerd. Also, the title of this episode is a lie. He'll never grow up. I feel like the minimum for the episode descriptions when you put them up on the podcasty thing that you do should be at least mention the culture swap. That's generally like half the show most of the time.
I usually do. Sometimes.
Yeah, you usually do. But that one, I was like, this tells people nothing about what's inside this show.
To be fair, there's so Liam grows up, 78, 77 is short. Yeah. 76 is slightly longer than that, but not long enough.
Yeah.
75...
Because I did stop going back, and I genuinely am curious now.
74 is back to that's when I was doing timestamps still. So I'm
okay, so that was 74.
So there's a run of 3 or 4 episodes where it is too short. After Liam grows up, we get back to the same length as other podcast descriptions. This is the thing, listeners, is I was like, maybe I am... Like, we were joking. This argument is a joke in how intense it seems on Twitter. Like, we both made it seem like we were really falling out. It got to a point where I messaged Liam and went, we've not... Like, I was like... We haven't actually fallen out, right? Because I was, at one point, I was like, I wonder if I'm just not realising that Liam is actually really pissed off about this.
Which, this would be a weird thing to be pissed off about.
It would be. But I was genuinely like, because I'm like you, where I find it sometimes, I struggle to read social situations. So yeah. I was like, I wonder if I'm just not picking up that Liam is actually, like, annoyed. And then me arguing back has just pissed him off more. So I just have to check with him.
I genuinely found it hilarious, especially that this time... Because then, going back through the episodes, I was like...
our recent stuff...
Huh?
If you look at our recent stuff, they are all a reasonable length.
I mean, but this is the thing, right? To me, I don't know what a reasonable length would be, because I don't listen to a lot of podcasts.
So, seeing as we're playing this game... listeners, my response to this was me posting Liam's YouTube video descriptions, which was unfair of me, because I know how he does them. But it also sort of proves my point.
The way I'm going to explain the way I do my YouTube descriptions is because I split.
No. I explained afterwards, so you have to explain afterwards.
Okay, all right. You do your thing first.
Let me just find the description. Right. Welcome to episode 59 of Nerd on Nerd. For new listeners, we begin by catching up with Ellie and Liam. The conversation this week includes: it was Valentine's Day. Liam spent it with his girlfriend Kat. They had a romantic night eating out and watching Black Panther, which Liam will talk about later. Liam and Kat went to Portsmouth and met up with previous guest Mark, and then a link to a video where we met up with Mark.
Julius, cross-promotion.
Kat wanted clothes for Valentine's Day, but Liam wasn't sure which clothes to get her. Yep. Ellie didn't get anything for Valentine's Day. Ellie went to a couple of gigs, Brian Fallon and the Wombats. Liam doesn't know much about music, but Ellie tries to explain anyway. This part of the show is where we go to the cinema and then provide a spoiler-free review of the film that we saw at the cinema. This week, both Ellie and Liam saw Black Panther, and so here is their review. This latest entry into the MCU is directed by Ryan and stars Chadwick Boseman. You list the entire cast of Black Panther in this description.
Because sometimes people find the videos by typing in actors' names.
Yeah, so you're tag whoring. Yeah. Liam thinks this film is a bit like Game of Thrones meets James Bond. Accurate? You tell us. The next film Liam saw at the cinema was... This is
keep going, because I want you to get to the bit that I know you've got an issue with.
It's a love story about a woman and a fish man, directed by Guillermo del Toro, and starring... Sally, we'll get a list of the cast again. Yeah. This is a wonderful film, and Liam will tell you why. Ellie's here with a review of Queer Eye Season 1, which is available on Netflix, starring Bobby, but he lists the cast. This TV series sounds to Liam like the kind of reality TV that he doesn't like. Ellie insists it's so much more than that. Where do you stand? There's so many questions.
I'm trying to get people, giving them something to respond with.
Listeners, just to let you know, I'm about halfway through this YouTube video description.
I put so much effort into them.
We're getting to my favourite part of this.
Yeah, no, I think you've made a mistake here, but carry on.
I haven't, because I can show you where the screenshot cuts. I don't think I fucked up. Have you actually got the video link, and have you checked?
Yeah.
Is it not in there twice?
So the thing is, I discuss 2 seasons of Prison Break. So I list the cast twice, but if you look carefully, I do say, now Liam's here with, season 3.
Oh, you're
link
right.
Back to season 2.
They're just so fucking identical paragraphs. They are technically different.
Yeah.
That's insane, Liam. Yeah. Because they don't seem different.
They are.
On the last episode of Nerd on Nerd, Liam that bit I have fucked up. There's a cut there. Reviewed Prison Break Season 1. And now Liam's back with a review of Prison Break Season 2. Created by Paul, starring the cast, blah, 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 blah. Liam's got to be careful with what he says about this show because he doesn't want to give spoilers, but he does let you know if it's any good. On the last episode of Nerd on Nerd, Liam reviewed Prison Break Season 1. And earlier in this episode, Liam reviewed Prison Break Season 2.
See, it's different.
Liam's here reviewing Prison Break Season 3. List the cast. This season was impacted by the writer's strike, so it's a shorter season. But is it good? Liam, let you know.
Yep.
Let's keep the house for housekeeping. This part of the show is where we check in on any listener feedback we may have received, and we also provide an update on any ongoing culture swaps. E.g., if you explain.
Can I just explain though, right?
No,
in that episode,
it's the Amanda tweeted us. She thinks Liam's garden. He provides a garden update. Then Liam gives Amanda exactly what she wants. While Ellie is annoying and provides a top 20 top 20 films new to Liam in 2017. Okay, makes sense. Now we're going to swap some culture with Culture Swap. This is the part of the show where Liam and Ellie deep dive into a film, TV series, graphic novel, or video game. This week we are discussing Monster Hunter World, which we played on PlayStation 4. We played a significant amount of this game together, so we can provide you with our informed opinion. Developed and published by Capcom, this is an action role-playing game where you just give so much detail.
Yeah.
On the next Culture Swap, speaking of cat, you don't actually speak of cat.
should they?
You don't.
I think I do in the episode.
Speaking of cat. Okay. She's returning as a special guest to discuss the graphic novel Kill or Be Killed Volume 1. Who will kill? Who will be killed? We'll find out next time. Also, Liam gives a DVD update. Now explain yourself, Liam.
Alright, so...
That is too long.
Okay, so one thing. They are all that long. I'm not going to defend the length. I can tell you how I do it, and that will explain the length. But
yeah,
in that episode, we make a joke of saying, if you're a new listener, we're going to explain each part of the show for you. So that's why in the description it has an explanation of what each part of the show is. But the way I do the YouTube episodes is, if you follow us on YouTube, you'll notice I split up the show into parts. So I do like the catching up with, that goes up on a Monday. On Tuesday, we have all of the reviews we do. So like the film reviews, book reviews, TV reviews, sometimes video game reviews. Once we've had a podcast review. That was a long time ago. Had to make a new logo for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then Wednesday it's housekeeping. And in the housekeepings, I tag who we talk about. So when I do eventually catch up, I can link it on Twitter and tag everyone in nice and easy. Thursday is the culture swap. And then on Friday, the whole episode goes up. And the way I do the description is I just copy and paste all of the descriptions from the previous episodes that have gone up that week into one nice long one. And the goal is, one, to give, like, hopefully enough information that if people are searching, it's going to come up. But not so much information that they're going to be like, I now know, don't need to listen to this.
Liam, I just read for about 10 minutes.
You did.
You're doing too much.
I'm just putting effort into it.
I know that it's easy. No, you aren't. No, you aren't. You're putting effort in to 4 days of content, and then you're not putting any effort in to the 5th day. So what I'm saying is, just do very minor effort on the 5th day, because that's also the day where you don't have to edit anything, because you can just literally
copy paste.
So just literally, just write a paragraph. I don't mind the length of each individual bit of that. That's YouTube description length. That's fine. But just for the last day, don't post every description.
I'm hoping it helps with the searching.
I don't think it does.
I don't understand YouTube enough if it does. My favourite response to all of that was Tom tweeted us from his Can I Talk for 20 Minutes account saying, Mum and Dad are fighting again.
Yeah.
Amanda did also tweet us saying, are you two okay? Also, you'll like this tweet from Amanda. In the case of a gift to surprise your significant other, it is okay to lie. It's in the white lie pass area, like when you've had a bad day and you ask your partner if you look okay, and even if you don't, they should say you're always beautiful or something along those lines.
Yep. What a lovely tweet from Amanda, which helped succinctly explain it. How did you respond to that tweet, Liam?
Oh, is that what you should say? Oh, and then Kat said, I'm so lucky. And I said, well, next time you look a mess and you're about to go out, I'll say you're always beautiful and send you off on your merry way.
Oh, Liam.
I like this. So Amanda tweeted us saying, I enjoyed your discussion about Chris Pratt in the Lego Movie 2 review, because I wasn't sure if we should discuss that or not. And
I think it's a culturally relevant thing that should have been discussed.
And I'm pleased that Amanda enjoyed that. He's been my favourite Chris for years, but in recent weeks I've been rethinking my whole Chris ranking. Also, took my nephew Liam to see Lego Movie 2, and I agree that the credits song is the best song.
Fair enough.
Once again, Amanda made the mistake of listening to our Culture Swap on the marked ones as it was getting dark, and she got spooked, so she had to wait and listen to the next day. Does that count as 2 listens?
Didn't she? I don't know.
Okay.
Didn't she also do that with the non-a-thon-along?
Yeah, the Paranormal Activity.
Because I put spooky sounds in there.
Yeah, which I haven't listened to yet, but I'll get there.
I was going to say it's worth it. It's not. but
I'll get that.
I like that I put little ghosty stings in between every film.
I really like Frankie's suggestion in the last email about doing Phantasm next. I think that could be a good shout. So Amanda said, I'm going to read that later. Oh, Tom tweeted us saying this week's episode is sponsored by pies, because we talk a lot about pies at the start, if I remember rightly.
How weird.
And Amanda did tweet to Kat saying, Ellie said in the episode that we should all tweet and say, I'm so sorry, Kat, and here it is. I'm going to add that you're a saint, and I thought your tactic to get the info about what horror thing to get Liam was very smart. Well done.
Yeah, see?
And Kat responded saying, ha ha, thank you. I was very pleased with myself, but of course Liam was a diva about it.
Yeah, you were.
And then the last bit of housekeeping, I posted on YouTube our review, my review of the first High School Musical book that you got for me, because I don't think there's enough reviews of those books on the internet, so I'm trying to promote.
Yeah.
And Frankie responded saying, I love your reviews of these books, Liam. It's so nice to hear about them without having to deal with actually reading them.
Yes, exactly. I think that is what we're all enjoying about you working through that series.
Yeah, I need to do the next one, really, because I leave it too long between each one, but I've got so many other books on the go at the moment that we'll see. That's all the housekeeping, unless you've done any culture swappy stuff.
No, it's fine. Yeah, that's all the housekeeping, I guess.
What is there? Is there more?
No, it's fine. Whatever.
What did I miss?
Whatever, Liam.
I don't know what I've missed. I genuinely.
If you don't want to talk about my Twitter takeover and how successful it all was, then no, it's fine.
No.
Don't worry about it, listeners.
I didn't count.
Those of you that interacted with me during Ellie's Gift Queen weekend, you all know how much fun we had without Liam around. But no, it's cool. He's just jealous.
Kat said
I don't need you to read them out because it's hard to read out gifts.
Yeah, no, but Kat said she thought you tweeted too much anime bullshit.
That was deliberate because someone very early on, I think Frankie might have mentioned anime. Yeah, Frankie was like, there's not enough anime on this. And I was like, you're correct. Let's go full anime.
Yeah, so it's all Frankie's fault is what you're saying.
If you could see my Twitter search history in the gift section, it went from like joy, crying, whatever, to anime sadness, anime this, anime this.
While I was away, there was a lot of you tweeting gifts. But Ellie always gets mad when I read out every single tweet that we
you
get
also
on
can't read. This is the genuine truth, Liam. The reason I did that, and this isn't a joke, is I went, if I do gifts for the entire weekend, Liam can't read these out because they're gifts, and that's what I mean. He puts me in charge of the Twitter, and I do the one thing he can't do on housekeeping.
I could still do it.
It's just going to be weird.
It would be me describing the gift.
Let's move on. I was just joking. It's all very good. We had fun.
Well, you had fun. I was in Austria trying to not die.
Yeah. I did feel bad about that.
That was housekeeping. Now it's time to swap my culture.
Culture swap.
I know, I reversed it. Normally you say swap my culture.
I would just like to point out that we have gone past my predicted time for how long the episode would go.
We were both very wrong with our predictions.
I was going to say 2 hours, and then I was like, nah, we'll be alright.
I mean, honestly, how have we gone this long?
We did an hour catching up with.
We haven't really done that much. Like, I know going to Austria, but it was just a weekend.
I know.
I mean, you did, 20 minutes talking about some fucking beauty thing, so I feel like...
Talking about an amazing discount, actually, Liam.
Well, you know.
Right, what did we do, Liam?
We did My Boyfriend is a Bear. It's a graphic novel. It's a very bizarro-like concept, apparently not, but some might think so. It was written by Pamela Ribbon. It was illustrated and coloured by Kat Farris, and it was lettered by Seda Temafonte, with colour assists by Caitlin Lake, Gabriel Fisher, Ron Chan, Alison Wilsey, and John Serino. Good job, everyone.
Yeah. Do you want? I mean, I guess that's
designed by Kate Z. Stone.
There we go.
And edited by Ari Yarwood and Charlie Chu.
So for listeners, Liam, that have heard the title of this graphic novel,
yes,
and are thinking to themselves, I wonder what this is about.
What could My Boyfriend is a Bear be about?
Do you want to give them a quick spoiler-free synopsis before we get into the spoilers?
Yeah, alright. So, meet Nora. She is a woman in her 20s, it seems.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. She's gone through a succession of bad relationships. She meets a bear.
An American black bear, to be specific.
Yeah. And embarks on a tender, touching relationship with said
the bear.
Yeah.
The bear isn't just a bear. Like, he is just a bear, but within this universe, the bear is
somewhat. Is
basically
it anthropomorphic or something like that?
He acts like a person.
He
wears human clothes. He does human. He does
some
to the shops
DIY
stuff. Yeah, he does a lot of DIY.
Yeah. And he gets a job at one point, doesn't he? Isn't there a meeting of him in like a boardroom?
Yes, yeah. She doesn't know what he does, but he works in a boardroom and gets people to do work, and he's very good at convincing people to do work.
Yes, exactly. We're going to do spoilers now. If you don't want My Boyfriend is a Bear to be spoiled...
Which I would say, I enjoyed this, go give it a read. So,
The thing is, it's quite a quick read. It's not particularly long. It's kind of cutesy, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's been any previous graphic novels that we've done that this would be remotely in the same ballpark. Maybe Ghost World. Maybe. Although that's a bit. It's not
heavier?
quite so. Yeah, definitely.
It's less cutesy as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's not really. It doesn't have the sex of Sunstone, but it does have that relationship element. Although, I mean, it doesn't have the sex necessarily depicted, but
sex does happen.
It's stated that she straight up fucks the bear.
Yeah, well, all right.
What?
You're painting it, like, throwing that out there, people are going to be like, well, that's fucking weird. Within the context of the graphic novel. It's weird, but in the context of the graphic novel, it's less weird.
Yeah. Like, they don't go into detail of it, but they make it they make it obvious enough that it's
I mean, within this comic book universe, it's not that weird that she fucked the bear.
Here's the thing, right? You say that, but there is, like, everyone responds to her dating a bear as being like, it's not like, this isn't a universe where people date animals.
No. But it's also not this universe, Liam, because if I came around your house and you went, this is the American black bear I'm dating, I wouldn't be like, Liam, I think you and the black bear should break up. I'd be like, Liam, that's a fucking bear. I'm calling the police.
In all honesty, one character does respond by saying something along those lines of, that's a fucking bear.
Yeah, but then they very quickly are like, oh, okay, maybe I've misjudged it. I still don't think you should date this bear, but it's not just a bear.
All right, so let's just dive into it.
And that's it. That's Culture Swap.
I was trying to think, where do you start? Like, genuinely, where do you start?
So, okay, so let's hit the thing that you have been saying and that I've been saying throughout this, right? Which is you sort of think this is a concept first thing.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because is the concept is, what if a woman dated a bear?
Yeah, so I can see why you then are thinking this is a concept first thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is. I think it's someone telling the story of, like, modern day romance, how people deal with the situation of, like, having a partner that people don't necessarily think is good for you when they actually are. Like, because you always hear the story of, like, someone's dating someone and I think they're bad for them, so let's get them broken up and it all ends.
Yeah.
Whereas this, I think, within this universe, her and the bear actually have quite a good relationship.
Do you know what? For like 99% of the time, I would agree with you. There's, I think, literally maybe like one panel where I was like, oh, I don't. The bear just acts like a dick to her, and it just made me a bit like.
What does the bear do to her, Liam? Just
I've got to now find that panel, haven't I?
Listeners, I think.
Do you know the bit I'm talking about?
I do. I genuinely do, and I agree with you. But
listeners, I think we're getting we might get a breakthrough any minute now. Just watch this. Let's all just listen in while Liam talks about how the bear is a dickhead to his girlfriend. Let's see if
I've got to find...
I'll let you know, listeners, when he has the moment of realisation.
Is it when he gets drunk at the party and acts like a dick?
No, at the party he's not a dick. At the party, didn't he just break some stuff?
Yeah, he gets drunk and he's sort of he hangs out a bit with. Is it Carly?
Yeah,
he hangs out a bit much with Carly.
No, they're being friendly. There's nothing weird in that bit.
And then, oh God, he's quite nice there. He's nice there. Yeah, Cat's dead. He's nice. Where is it where he's a dick? There's definitely a bit where I'm like, oh, I don't like this. It's before all this though. I've gone too far. Hang on.
It's what it is, Liam. I've got it.
Go on. What page? Tell me what page or location.
Mine doesn't have page numbers.
Are you doing? Yeah.
Well, mine's location 107 out of 107.
Let me get to that location. Yeah, that's what I was just talking about when he gets drunk at the party.
Yeah, but then you said you had gone past it, or you were too early.
Yeah, you said it wasn't that bit.
No, I thought you meant the bit before it, where he's drunk at the party, which is then him not being a dick and then being like, look how ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no, I literally, like, when I said that, it was literally this panel that I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he just seems a bit of a dick at that point. There's a bit where he just doesn't seem...
I mean, all he does is trip over and hurt someone. He doesn't do anything dickheaded.
There is a bit where he doesn't seem to be quite as considerate for her feelings as he has been in the others, where he just gets... And I think, like, you can explain it partly because he also doesn't want to go and hibernate because he's, like, going to miss her.
Yeah, we should explain, listeners, the major crux of the second half of this graphic novel is the bear is going to have to hibernate over winter because he's a bear, and they both know it's coming, and they're trying to sort of deal with what that means for their relationship, with the bear disappearing for however many months. 3 months, I think? It might be longer.
Yeah, however long hibernation for bears lasts.
So they're just both, like, trying to deal with that by not talking about it, and then it's all very, like again, I think it's a thing about modern romance and not about a bear, because it's like that's sort of about long distance relationships or how do you deal with your partner not being there.
I found the bit.
Okay, go on.
Okay, it's actually a bit before that. So it's where the bear is getting unhappy about his job. She says he'd stay in bed until the very last minute. He'd come home growling and snuffing and head straight to the kitchen for a beer, which is like, to me, that's red flag right there.
Right, well, that's not what they're trying to say. Jesus Christ.
He'd leave for work with this distant stare, and there's this like cute scene where she's just like dancing and she's singing a little song, and he just like has a go at her, and she's like, geez, okay, sorry, Grumps, and he's just being a bit of a dickhead. And then the next page, she says, like, all around him, she'd be like, okay, Bear, I'll try to be better about that, Your Majesty. And just those 2 pages, I was just like, oh, the bear's becoming a bit of a dick.
So literally, listeners, so as Liam pointed out, that is location 89 out of 170. So for 2 pages, The bear is moody, which again, I'm taking as this is how relationships actually work, is no one is in a relationship constantly happy and lovey-dovey.
No, I agree.
The bear is depressed from work.
When I was reading it, I was like, oh, he's clearly... So what is clearly happening there is he is bringing the stresses of work back home with him and taking them out on his partner.
Yeah.
And I get that that's something that happens. It's just, as I was reading it, I was like, oh, is this the path that it's going to go down now? And because I wasn't sure. Like, they bring it back and he becomes nice again.
But we're in the spoiler section, so we can talk about the fact that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But as I was reading it, I didn't know that wasn't going to happen next.
Okay. I
So
see what you're saying.
Yeah, as I was reading it, I was like, oh, is this... I don't know if I'm on board with Bear anymore.
Right.
We have done a terrible job of explaining all that. I apologise, listeners. But...
Well, it's because you got distracted by showing me that point. We were trying to talk about... So the fact that it's a metaphor or not a metaphor.
Yeah. It's weird, right? Because it so easily could be a metaphor, but then there's little bits here and there that just remind you, oh no, it is an actual bear that they're talking about.
No, yeah, but that doesn't exclude it from being a metaphor. It is a metaphor for romance in the modern age and how you deal with that. Like, you have the scenes with her parents where they're like, he's not right for you. Yeah. And that's talking about
But what's what it's like the modern age equivalent of hibernation?
Either long distance dating or your partner having to go away for ages, because that's what that scene's about. She makes the hard decision to stay with him during that time, and it's about how she deals with that. So that's the equivalent.
But genuinely, right, are there many, and I don't think so, like that people can relate to, situations where your partner goes away for like 3 months where you can't even contact them for that time?
No, but that's why it's a metaphor. It's not a one-to-one analogy. It's a metaphor.
Okay.
Because it's not trying to talk about... It's taking it to an extreme example.
Yeah.
But that's what it's talking about.
Yeah.
Right? That's, to me, this
whole
thing
I'm not
was just them talking about...
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
Okay. Like, that's what I took from this, was it was just talking about, like, the difficulties of different aspects of romance.
Yeah.
And, like, love lives and... Like, what do you do when one of your friends really doesn't like your partner? And how do you deal with...
It happens, but what is the method for dealing with that the comic describes? Because she basically just stops hanging out with that friend.
Yeah, and I don't think it's saying that's the right way or the wrong way. I think it's just saying, I think it's just looking at, because it's described online as a slice of life, which is like your kind of shit.
Yeah,
you love that, like day in the life of people. It's like mumblecore, Liam, but with a bear.
It's like mumblecore with a bizarro concept almost, although it's not quite bizarro. But
no, because that's the thing. Because I think bizarro would literally, because if this was
bizarro would have her fucking the bear,
and it would be a bear. It wouldn't dress in human clothes and have a job. It would be a bear. That's what bizarro would be. That's the difference, I think. Is a bizarro book would be she is dating a black bear who just lives in her house and is a fucking bear all the time and doesn't give her any love. It's just a fucking bear, and then she's like, but I love the bear, and her friends are like, it's a bear though.
Yeah,
that would be bizarro. That's why I'm disagreeing with you in your bizarro comparison.
Yeah. No, I don't think it is bizarro, but I do think it is a high concept.
I just don't like that you're trying to shoehorn your bizarro genre in here. Get it out of here.
No, it's a high concept comic book.
Okay, yeah.
And the concept is, what's it like to date a bear?
I don't think it is, but you're just ignoring everything I say, so
no, I'm listening.
Fuck it, why
Can
not?
I say, there is literally just one panel that, like, the book is so cutesy and almost twee and pleasant, and then there's literally one panel that I was reading it in the bath, and I was like, oh, I didn't need to see that.
Which panel?
It's
is it when he does a little poop?
Yep. Yep. I was just
when he's hibernating. When he's hibernating, you're getting this whole story of her, like, living through the weeks without him.
Yeah.
And it's all very emotional. She's like trying to figure out whether might be cheating. Like, he's a bear. Maybe he's dating another bear. And then it does show you a panel of the bear waking up, doing a poo, and then going back to sleep.
And a big piss all over it as well.
Yeah, because he's a bear.
No, I get it. I was just like, I didn't need to see.
I think it's good because it's showing you that.
Didn't need to see it though. My favourite thing about the bear in those panels is the way they've drawn his bum.
Yeah.
It's just a little cross.
Yeah.
And I know that's a weird thing to that's my favourite thing, but it genuinely is.
Yeah, he does pee and poo on that floor.
It just took me a bit by surprise. I was like, I didn't need that.
I just love the whole, like, it's a very, like, I don't know, she's a very emotionally, not fragile, fragile is probably the wrong word, but she's an emotional person. And, like, there's whole scenes in this that are just painted adorably.
She's dated...
Yeah, she's had a bunch of shitty relationships.
Yeah.
But then she's also, like, it's not just her relationships. Like, when the cat dies.
Yeah,
that bit's really sad. Good. And I totally get, like, I was like, oh, man, that's horrible. And the bear is so, like, nice about it. Like, takes the cat out before she can find him dead and is just, like, there for her. And I was like, I just farted, and I think my mic will have picked it up. I'm sitting really weird.
Listeners, this is the shit I've got to put up with.
The cat dies and the bear takes it outside.
This episode should just be titled Ellie Farts.
Ellie does a fart.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Anyway, yeah, back to this really cutesy, adorable comic that you're discussing while farting.
It is adorable. And she's like crying and the bear's like, I took it away.
I know, like,
have a little hug.
When we discussed Lumberjanes, I like the art for some of it, but not for, like, a later volume. I really like the art in this. Is that, like,
it's really good.
That, like, cartoony's not right, but
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I think it works really well for this comic.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Good job, whoever the artist was.
You read it out at the beginning.
Yeah. Refer back to beginning, please. No, I can't make our listeners do that. I'll read it out. Good job, Kat Farris.
Yeah, I just think it's a really, really good little book.
It is. I mean, I admit I was kind of waiting for the bear to be a more obvious metaphor, or like a more, like, analogical.
I think maybe, and this is not an insult, but you have been in a relationship for a lot of your adult life now. So, and this is very much like an early doors relationship, which you haven't been in an early doors relationship for ages. Like,
years.
You and Kat don't do this adorable cutesy stuff because you've
we
done
do
it all.
Singing and dancing in the kitchen, but I'm not a dick to her about it when she does it. I join in.
I don't think she does it. I think you do it. Is the issue. And you just ignore Kat when she growls.
It's accurate. It's really accurate.
I know.
Yeah. You've been witness to it.
I have.
Yeah. In this in my relationship, Kat is the bear, I guess.
Yeah, but you're sort of like you're like one panel of Nora, just the panel where she dances. Except imagine that the rest of this book, every panel where it was just the bear, was still there, but then every other panel was just Nora dancing in the kitchen. That's what this book would. That's what your relationship is.
Yeah, or just like Nora, but replace it with like a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. That'd be a weird graphic novel.
Yeah.
My 2-year-old's dating a bear.
My boyfriend is a bear. ... And I'm a baby.
Oh God, no! Oh.
Yeah. One thing that I did like.
Yeah.
Was the scene or the bit where he goes off to hibernate, and then she's talking to her friends, and she has this whole like moment where she's like loses her trust, and she has to like go and check on him. And I quite liked how that was handled, because I feel like that's a believable like scenario to be in, where like if you relate that to like a real world situation where you're with a partner who does go off and you have to like long distancing for a while, I can see being in that mindset where you're like, oh well, I don't know who they're with, I don't know what they're doing. So I quite like. Obviously, in real life, you can't just go to the cave that they're in and see that they're just sleeping. And I don't think. One thing the comic doesn't necessarily touch on, but I don't think that is necessarily a healthy way of dealing with that. Like,
no, but again, I don't know if the comic is trying to present this as like, here's how to do a good relationship.
Yeah. Both like Nora and the bear have flaws.
Yeah, one is a bear, and Nora doesn't trust him.
Nora has trust issues, but again, I think that could, most likely is because of her previous experiences.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's explained. It's not like just thrown in there. Yeah.
It's just, the whole thing's just adorable, Liam, is the thing. It's all very adorable. The bear gives her cuddles, and she talks about how the bear's a very good cuddler, and I'm like, yeah, I bet he is, and I wish I could cuddle the giant bear.
Yeah, but they do also talk about how they have sex.
I'd fuck the bear.
I mean, here's the thing, right? This could have gone in a very different direction, this comic.
Yeah, if you'd had any part of the creation process.
No, imagine if it was my boyfriend as a bear, and it turns out that the bear in question was like, the slang for like the big hairy gay guys.
Yeah.
I mean, that could still be quite an adorable comic.
Yeah.
Just a lot more butt sex.
No, not necessarily. Her boyfriend could just be a bear in terms of like, he's a big hairy guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean there has to be butt sex.
Why not?
I mean, there can be, but there doesn't have to be.
Yeah, no, but I want there to be.
Right, okay. So we are back to if you had any part of the creative process.
Yeah. It's
which
good
you did say no to, but now it is a yes.
Yeah. I like that she makes the bear wear an Arcade Fire t-shirt.
I like that that's her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
And at one point he's like, is that my t-shirt?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird one, because I don't have like a whole lot to say about it. It was just nice. Like, I read it in 2 sittings, predominantly in the bath, and it's a good bath time read.
I read it in bed, all in one sitting, and had a good time and was like, oh, what an adorable story.
Yeah. Did you read it like... So we both read it on Kindle, right?
Yeah.
Did you do like the page by page one, or did you do the panel by panel?
No, I whenever I'm reading a comic book on Kindle, I do the action panel thing, whatever it is.
Okay. How was that?
I just find that, like, I'm reading it on Kindle anyway. I don't want to have to be like zooming into a panel. I'm gesturing with my hands, listeners, at like.
No panels. Well, I mean, I read this on my iPad, so it's quite a big old screen.
Oh, see, I read it on my phone.
Oh, so I didn't really have to deal with the zooming.
Which is
point.
If you're on listeners, if you're on your phone reading Kindle comics, honestly, just go for the panel thing. It's really good.
Do you know what? I loved reading. I mean, I didn't love the book so much, but reading the book on my phone was just so handy.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I could read more books on my phone, but I do also enjoy reading like the actual physical book.
The only reason I read stuff on my phone and Kindle is because I used to have to take like 5 books with me on holidays, and that's a lot of weight to put in a suitcase.
Put in your hand luggage.
Yeah, but then it's all like you have to get it out of the security. Also, I didn't fly a lot of places when I was younger, Liam. It was just extra weight that we had to load in my suitcase.
Okay, fair enough.
And they'd get screwed up.
Yeah, that's the annoying bit. You get dog ears, or just like
hate that. So it's much easier to just have my library on my phone and be like, oh yeah, cool, I can read whatever.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, the benefits of it are good. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of point horror books on Kindle, which is an issue with what I'm currently going through, but I'm getting through it. Don't worry about it. Anything else you want to discuss about My Boyfriend is a Bear?
I want to date a big bear.
We had that tweet from Amanda that I haven't read out yet. So
go on.
Amanda tweeted and said, I looked up the picture of My Boyfriend is a Bear, and what the hell is this book? I'm glad you're reading it for me. I've read too much about bear attacks to be able to suspend my disbelief for this concept.
Well, I can assure you, Amanda, there are no bear attacks in this book.
No, like, he does get a bit, like, angsty now and again.
But he's not. No, but he does once. Once he gets angsty, and once he accidentally trips over while carrying someone.
Yeah.
And even the angsty thing, he doesn't do anything. He just growls once.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
So don't paint it like he's a violent bear.
Yeah. At no point does the bear maul anyone.
No, he's an adorable bear who I love. I want to marry the bear.
He's a good bear. Out of 5?
3.5.
I'm gonna go 3 out of 5.
Cool.
That
Sounds about right
fair,
for what we're saying.
Next time, we're joined by Ashley Burnell. She is also known as the Movie Oracle. That's her Twitter handle, @the_Movie Oracle. And she has a YouTube channel. And she has a game show on YouTube called Are You a Movie Oracle? Where she'll get like 2 people asking a bunch of like movie trivia questions. And they have to battle it out. She's coming on the show to talk about a film that's right up Ellie's street called The Last Supper.
This film, Liam thinks it's up my street because he claims it's about religion because it's called The Last Supper, but it isn't.
It's not. It's just my running joke that only I find funny, which is that Ellie's super into religious stuff.
Which I'm not.
I know. It's just because of your upbringing.
I wasn't religious.
Also, here's a little teaser for the listeners. On the next Catching Up With, I'm going to talk about meeting Ellie's family.
Yeah.
So,
how exciting.
If The Last Supper didn't get you coming back, I'm sure that will.
Come back and listen to when Liam came to a party with my parents.
I'm so concerned about what their kind of perception of me currently is before having met me, after you spent a night going around showing them how I eat an orange. Which is I
loved your tweet the other day of the bag of oranges.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that in more detail. You just the key bit there is your family has now watched me eat an orange, and I'm concerned about what they're going to think of me before they've even met me. I
basically want to spend the entire party just sort of taking you to different people and being like, "This is my friend Liam. Liam, say something to them."
I want to meet Chuck.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about him. I've heard he's cool and he's Canadian, and I like those two Canadian things. Chuck. If he knows Ellen Page, there's my in.
I don't think he does.
Well, he might.
Don't think he does, though. It's the thing.
I'm now a lot less keen to meet him. But I've met your dad before.
Yeah.
So that's fine. We're getting him a present. Deal with it. And a card.
Okay, your choice. It's a no presents kind of deal, but it's your choice.
I don't think he's going to mind.
I don't think he will, but...
Unless you're like, I told him
I haven't said anything.
Well then. But yeah, is your brother and sister going to be there?
Yep.
Cool. I've never met them before.
No, Mol's got a couple of her friends come in. Harry's got a couple of his friends come in.
I know. I have zero interest in meeting any of them.
Well, you're probably going to meet them because they'll be there.
Alright. Your mum, I'm fascinated to meet. Yep. I like. Here's the thing, right, about your mum. I really want to ask her about her work, but I don't know how to do it without it sounding weird.
Why?
Because it fascinates me. Like, it's such a, like, horrendous thing that she does, but also, like, a good thing. Like, the shit she must have seen. Like, how does she sleep at night? But also, like, I'm so pleased.
At my dad's 60th birthday, don't be bringing that up then. Immediately, I'm just going to tell you off the bat. Don't bring that up.
Yeah, but I'm so pleased she does it. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So, I'm fascinated. And also,
maybe you should get her a card too.
That says what?
You do such a horrendous but nice job. I'm so glad you do it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm mostly just going to let Kat do the talking, I think. I think that's my safe play.
Come on. No, dude, so many of my family have listened to this fucking podcast.
Yeah, that's worrying.
The thing is... It's not even going to work. If you don't talk, people are just going to be like, well, that's weird because he's a weirdo and he didn't talk.
Yeah, the thing is, when we went to Dan's Christmas thing, I was very uncomfortable anytime someone was like, oh, I listened to the podcast. And then just the way I am, if they said anything remotely positive about it, I'm just immediately like,
Well, the only people that are going to mention it are going to be, if anyone, my direct family. There's going to be a lot of people there who don't know who the fuck you are, so don't worry about it.
My opening question is going to be, how much of the podcast have you listened to? And do you have any advice?
Just all my mum and dad's friends being like, what podcast?
I'm like, oh, come with me. I've got some headphones. Our listens this week are going to go through the roof.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so that's what happened next time. I mean, the main thing really is that we've got Ashley coming on as a guest.
Yeah, Ashley is the main thing on that episode.
But there's other stuff going on. It's not all about Ashley. Jesus
Christ, Liam. Listeners, if you want to get in contact with us and let us know your thoughts on My Boyfriend is a Bear or any of the other stuff we discussed, talk about snow skiing. Just snow.
What about episode length descriptions? Discuss that. Do you like Ellie's sort of like minimal effort approach?
What do you prefer? Do you prefer
Liam's overachieving?
A short podcast description, or do you prefer a short novella?
The thing is, right, whatever you tweet, if like 10 people tweeted being like, oh, we much prefer Liam's YouTube thing, you'd still be like, fuck it, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, much like if they tweeted, we much prefer Ellie's thing, you wouldn't change yours.
I wouldn't.
No, exactly. So don't try and pretend like you're some sort of hero.
No, but I am.
Anyway, if you want to get in contact with us to let us know any of that stuff, you can tweet us at nerdonnerd. You can email us at nerdonnerdpod@gmail.com.
Yep.
You can Facebook us, facebook.com/nerdonnerdpod, all one word.
YouTube!
I totally forgot to talk about how I'm a hamster saver. Oh well, we'll have to save it.
What?
I'm a fucking hero, don't worry about it. YouTube. Search on YouTube for Nerd on Nerd. We come up. We're on Spotify now. I checked. You do have to scroll down to find us, even if you search Nerd on Nerd. We're like 50 podcasts in. Turns out a lot of podcasts have nerd in the title or description. And
yeah,
we
because
don't
it's a buzzword.
It's why we've got it twice. You can also rate us and review us on iTunes. Apparently it helps, gets us up those charts.
I don't believe that.
Any final thoughts, Liam?
I think there's plenty to come back for next time. Mostly the hamster stuff.
Bye.
Bye.